Housekeeping announcements that would help move this thing along. It would be helpful, and you folks have been terrific, in my opinion, but we can be better if you say at the top, I'm in support or I'm opposed to the bill. That would help set the context. Second thing is, it appears to me that we will be here past midnight. And so be it. But it would be helpful if you would limit yourself to the 1 minute time limit. But if not, we'll be here till 6 tomorrow morning. And there's been some comments that I'd like to respond to about certain members being present, not being present. If you've been with us during from the outset of the day, whether in person or by TV, I believe you would conclude, as I do, that the members have been very diligent in trying to take into account what your testimony is. Having said that, rather than call a recess for a bathroom break, the members have chosen to do so on their own volition. And sometimes it takes a while. So you would do the committee a service, really, if you would not remind us who's here and who's not here. We're aware of who's here and who's not here. That would help to keep the level of discussion at a higher plane and not devolve the discussion where it probably shouldn't go. As I said at the outset, I'm grateful and appreciative of the general behavior of today's hearing. I hope that we can continue to keep it at that level. We'll start with Group 10. Thank you very much for your patience. Please proceed.
Senator He and the other senators, my name is Wayne Cordero. I'm the founder and the pastor of the New Hope Churches. Collectively, just a little over 51,000 congregants. We oppose collectively Senate Bill number 1. As you can see, that the people of Hawaii hold deeply held religious beliefs, and they're very spiritual people. And it's not a patina of commitment to the Ohana traditional marriage, but it's systemic into the very roots of who we are. And so a bill like this that goes to the roots of the people, it's something that violates much of their heart and soul. So my request is that we pause on this, we take much more time and slow the cadence down. Otherwise, it's like doing surgery high speed to change something and will only kill the patient. And I know that you're wise men and women and that you'll hear the voice of the people. And so we wanted to share with you our hearts and our souls and ask for the fact that if we can slow it down, take it to the vote of the people so that it'll be a win-win situation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you again. And if you choose not to yield to my request, we'll recess the meeting. I said this at the outset. It's been a very good meeting. I would ask you not to clap. I would ask you not to jeer, but be respectful in silence. Please proceed.
Esteemed panel, thank you for your time and service.
You're welcome.
I, Gerald Mahuse, strongly oppose Senate Bill 1. Christians are affected by this bill because it prohibits our core beliefs, denies our civil rights to vote, and affects our ability to act upon our faith. Just as no person is forced to accept religion as a lifestyle, no person should be forced to accept the LGBT lifestyle. Allow the people of Hawaii to make this choice, and you as legislators will walk amongst the people irreproachable. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1 through 2. I charge you in the presence of God and of Christ Jesus, who will judge the living and the dead, and by his appearing in kingly power, proclaim the word. Be persistent whether it is convenient or inconvenient. convince, reprimand, encourage all through patience and teaching. Although the legislative body has authority to decide the validity of same-sex marriage, a bill whose effects of this magnitude should not be handled by just a handful of legislators.
Please wrap it up.
Please do not deny the people their vote. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Stand up. Chairman He and Judiciary Committee, am I loud enough? Today I want to share my thoughts about gay marriage in 1 minute. Please no to gay marriage for the following reasons. Gay marriage will normalize unsafe sex acts, as in homosexinfo.org. 2,000 people died from AIDS in Hawaii. Fisting can lead to a life of wearing colostomy bags. There are over 10,000 gay ostomites. Punctured rectum can lead to a very painful death. Common Core education in Hawaii schools teaches gay sex and only Islam. Under Islam's Sharia law, homosexuals are put to death or severely punished. So do we have a conflict here? People Can Change is a successful counseling program. The book Alfie's Home was handed out at an ex-gay day parade. There's a 1-minute YouTube on the internet. No sexual behavior or drug can replace the missing nurturing love and affirmation of an absent alcoholic father or angry, controlling mother. We must forgive our parents and molesters. God's love agenda is different from the homosexual agenda or Agenda 20.
Please wrap it up.
Which is a DVD. I'd like to say a quick prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe. Please show the LGBT community how much you love them. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah. Amen.
Thank you very much.
My name is Dennis Kim, and I would like to testify in opposition of this bill. I am a typical citizen of Hawaii. I am Hawaiian, Korean, Chinese, and a tinge of Ratuman. My extended family married into almost every race on this earth. Our family includes gay, lesbian, straight people. We have Baptists, Catholics, Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Methodists, Buddhists, atheists, and agnostics in our family. But when we have family gathering, the Ohana, we are never experienced any opposition, any conflict of any kind. Now, this bill will change that. I've been talking to many legislators during the past several weeks, and I think many are missing the issue. They see this only as a civil rights issue, and in reality, it is also a religious protection. It's a First Amendment issue. Now, after the people of faith made noise, did the legislators come up with additional solutions or amendments to this opposition? So in closing, I just want to say that we want to protect, the bill should include the words solemnization of marriage and celebration of marriages. That will protect a lot of facilities. I have many oppositions to items of the bill, but I don't have time to talk about it. So if you want to talk about it, I'll be happy to go to your office and
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Aloha, state senators and everyone. My name is Cynthia Cannell. I'm definitely not one that speaks very often, and my life is really just starting out. But I do have some things to say on this topic. I do oppose this bill. I have read it, and what I read in it makes me sad and fear for the future of the family I don't have yet. For my friends' children, for all those who aren't well off in the world, and for my future place in it. Therefore, I am testifying against this bill. I cannot see how this bill fights for equality when you are taking mine away. I do say these things with respect, and thank you for listening to me. I say these things.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, Chair He and the members of the committee. I'm Lynn Hansen. I've lived for over 4 decades in Laie, and I'm speaking here in opposition to SB1. I'm asking you to oppose this bill because its passage would endanger our religious freedoms. The bill does not grant adequate protections for churches against lawsuits. and it does not protect organizations related to or controlled by churches with respect to the celebration or the promotion of marriage against their religious beliefs. I support equality for all, including the rights of conscience and religious freedom. Many churches have nonprofit organizations to help them carry out their religious missions, such as BYU Hawaii, in case of the LDS Church. The bill covers only religious organizations. It is lacking in protection for these other important institutions that are vital to churches. Furthermore, as a grandmother, I'm opposed to the lack of protection in this bill for the right of religious parents.
Please wrap it up.
Mahalo for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christopher Finta, and in 1991, when I was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force, I took a sacred oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That is why I stand before you today in unwavering support of Senate Bill 1. Thankfully, you senators understand what many who have testified today, and many in this auditorium do not, that the laws of all these United States devolve from the Constitution, not from the Bible, not from the Torah, not from the Quran. And our Constitution does not permit a majority to practice legal discrimination against a minority. Period. It's that simple. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Philip Timbaga. I am from Wailili. I am a UH graduate. I am a straight male. I am a student at the law school. But more importantly, I am a Christian. And for that reason specifically, I support this bill because I feel that there's a difference between what the state can grant and what God grants us. No, this government doesn't have the power to grant God's blessing on any union. And so to say that granting this would be in support of God's will is a misunderstanding in my opinion. I also oppose any amendments to this bill that would relate to religious exemptions because I feel it goes against the Great Commission, which commands us to share with all people the gospel and the good news, and that it should be an opportunity for everyone to share our views with these people and love them and fellowship with them instead of saying, we don't want to speak to you until you stop being gay. That is my opinion, and thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, Senator He and honorable members. My name is Michael Kai. I'm born and raised on the Big Island in the town of Honoka'a. And for the past 12 years, I've been the senior pastor of Inspire Church in Waikele, Mililani, as well as downtown Honolulu. It is an honor to be here. Our church receives everyone of all sexual orientation, race, color, creed, religion. It does not matter. But in this case, I must put my foot down and say that I oppose this bill, specifically for religious reasons, but also because of our motto. The life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. And it has been our motto since Kamehameha III in 1843 and adopted by this great state in 1959. The people voted to defeat same-sex marriage in 1998, but here we are again. There are two words that stand out in our motto, calling us as centuries through the decades, the words perpetuated and righteousness. I would like to urge our esteemed legislators to not circumvent the protocol and procedure of the process. In letting the people decide, you will be perpetuating righteousness in honoring the people of Hawaii. In doing so, you'll be placing the trust, responsibility, and even placing the pressure on the people in allowing them their right to decide. In close, we ask that you perpetuate the process, honor the people, and in the end, all will be pono in this great land. Mahalo.
Thank you very much.
Aloha. My name is Jonah Kuhio Kalaniana Ole Ka'auvai, and I stand in strong opposition of this bill. As a youth legislator back in 1990, Senator He, I was your first governor at the OHA youth program that we had there. The interesting thing about being at the OHA program, it taught us to conduct ourselves with pono righteously. And when the legislative process was honored and the voice of the people was heard, and ultimately then the people of Hawaii was honored. They were honored. I believe you should kill this bill. I have over 700 testimonies that will be submitted right here from people around our community in Kailua that are against this bill. And this is the legislative process that we're talking about, where the people have a voice. I believe we should kill this bill, SB1, and offer the people of Hawaii an opportunity to vote in the 2014 on a constitutional amendment defining marriage between one man and one woman. Yes or no, as suggested in House Bill 5 introduced during this session today. It will honor both the proponents and the opponents of same-sex marriage and preserve the integrity of your offices, the legislative process, and honor the people of Hawaii. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Aloha. I want to thank you, legislators, for your patient efforts to listen to all the concerns of your constituents. And I know it's been a long day, and I plan to make this short, but I do strongly oppose. My name is Kent Kitagawa, and I strongly oppose this bill. And it does not afford adequate protections for people of faith. It doesn't protect their First Amendment rights based on their institutions, their faith, and their values, and it doesn't give private business owners or other institutions such as schools, faith-based schools, the protections, and it doesn't give people, individuals with the strong faith-based values, the protections to not participate in solemnization of sex unions.
Please wrap it up.
Sure. In closing, I just want to invoke the memory of the super ferry and how we kind of rushed things through there, and there was a lot of unintended consequences of that cost our taxpayers a lot of money. And I believe that if we rush this, there will be a lot of unintended consequences as well.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Senators. Thank you for your service to our community, to our state. My name is Anthony Swafoa. I am a resident of the state of Hawaii. I am a registered voter. I live in Kaimuki, and I believe Brother Senator Leslie Hara is my representative. I stand in opposition to Senate Bill 1. I have been here since 10 o'clock this morning, wait outside till about noon to get in. I've heard powerful testimony from both sides, emotional stories from both sides. I have heard you, Senators, as this Judiciary Committee, ask questions. If I say this, I would love and I hope that you guys can push this back and allow the people to vote. And if not, I encourage you to push this back to allow yourselves to become experts at this matter, because there are questions that all of you have, that all of you have asked. I respectfully ask this. I thank you for your service. And again, my name is Anthony Swafoa, and I oppose Senate Bill 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swafoa.
My name is Carol Hayashida, and I strongly oppose SB1. I come to you as a mother, raising my children to live out their faith, unconditionally love and respect and bless all people, regardless of whether we agree with them or not. We also teach our children they're blessed to live in a country where they can freely express their values, faith, and morals. They should not be forced to embrace values that do not line up with their personal faith. This bill threatens those rights. Up to now, acceptance of alternative lifestyle had virtually no impact in our lives and the lives of our children. However, this bill will force the acceptance through laws, policies, and the teaching of alternative lifestyle in the sex education curriculum of our children. It will bring us into conflict with our individual and personal religious freedoms and rights. Same-sex marriage presents many challenges in the area of parental authority, who is primarily responsible for the education of our children, creating a battle between the right to marry versus religious freedom. With this type of impact on the basic foundations of family and society, I humbly ask that we do not rush into this decision. I ask that you at least delay its passage to be able to address the concerns that many of us have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will Group 11 please prepare to or retire to the back of the room to prepare your testimony following Group 10. Please proceed. Thank you very much.
Honorable Chair He and committee members.
Okay.
My name is Jerry Otaguro. I'm a registered voter in Hawaii, and I am testing in opposition to Senate Bill 1. Due to the time restraints, I will focus on just one of my issues. It is about the potential consequences should this bill become law. For example, I have heard testimony about what happened in the educational system in Canada after same-sex marriage became legal, and I have read accounts online of its effects in Massachusetts. Because same-sex marriage became law, schools began to teach alternate lifestyle subjects, and they did not have to notify parents or let them opt their children out from these teachings. In legalizing same-sex marriage, I am afraid there will be a fallout where parents would be stripped of their parental rights in what their children can and cannot be taught, especially in the areas of their religious and moral beliefs. I am concerned that we are restricting ourselves to a mere 6 days of deliberation and abbreviated testimony and not taking the appropriate amount of time to thoroughly examine the second and third order effects of this bill and other issues being brought up today. For such a society-changing issue as this, I implore you to give this more time for discussion and allow the people to vote. Thank you for the opportunity to express my concerns, and thank you for your service to our state of Hawaii.
Thank you very much. Please proceed.
Dear Senators, peace and blessings to you. My name is Sukwa Lin. I humbly ask you to vote against SB1. If this bill passes, I would feel that my constitutional rights as Hawaiian residents and American citizens be greatly violated. I feel that my parental rights and religious rights in particular would be greatly violated. I really do not want my children and future generations to celebrate and even embrace the homosexual lifestyle as normal, healthy, or desirable, let alone be encouraged by every way in the school to try it for themselves. This bill threatened the physical, emotional, and spiritual health of my children. I feel so much violated that I feel like this bill is allowing people to quote-unquote rape me, my family, and my children, not one time, but all the time from generations to come. So if this is a bullying issue, there are Christ-centered, faith-sensitive curriculum that's very popular in public school these days to teach people about honor and bullying. So and we do not need to put our children and our way of life at risk, and we do not need to redefine marriages. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We know the mic works.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Honorable Chair and members of the Committee on Judicial and Labor. My name is Mary So, and I live in Aiea. I oppose same-sex marriage. The democratic process is being circumvented. A decision that you and your colleagues will vote on is of such great magnitude that it should not be made in the time allotted for this bill to become law. This is not pono. Registered voters who have elected people in their political offices should decide on whether same-sex marriage, a highly charged issue, should be here in our island home or not. Let the registered voters decide. In addition, the religious exemption wording should be made more stronger. As it is now written, it does not fully protect Hawaii's clergymen, and they should be protected as they serve a vital part in our community. And finally, one who is a Christian and a Hawaiian, my heart is warmed to know that King Kamehameha III, Kaui Kea o Uli, honored God, looking to him to be their aid, Hawaii's aid, knowing that his providence alone gave them perfect protection and prosperity, and that when their supplication was presented to him, he will guide them, Hawaii, to right measures and sustain them in their work. This is a part of our legacy, honoring God, looking to him. Although the people God loves, same-sex marriage does not honor him. It goes against his word. It just honors him as who he is, a holy God. Let us do what is right, what is pono, and continue on with the legacy that has been set before us, honoring a holy God as King Kamehameha III did. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For you, those of you, I am leaving for a few seconds, so you don't have to say I'm not here. I'm aware of that. Thank you very much.
He was just called into a meeting, so he is listening. But yeah, you can proceed.
My name is Adam Au. I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I've been in Hawaii for 15 years, and I'm a U.S. citizen for 10 years. And when I know the bill is coming up, and then I asked the Chinese community around, and nobody knows it's happening. So I have three reasons that this bill should be banned. or killed. I mean, the first reason is a lot of Chinese people, they don't know what's happening, and so they are marginalized. So I think we should wait and let them to understand what's going on. The second reason is, from my knowledge, is same-sex marriage is not civil right. In 2002, the United Nations Human Rights Community, formed by 18 human rights experts, they suggest that the same-sex marriage is not civil right. I mean, for those nations that ban same-sex marriage, is not against the civil rights covenant. The third reason is that the fallacy of historical materialism that I learned in China, that we believe that the society evolved from slavery society and then to a feudalism society and then communism, the capitalism society and then the socialism society and then and ultimately communism society. So actually, this is not true. I mean, we can believe that something is better than the other, but I want to say that we need to let the people decide. We should not let some people have ideologies to trump the Constitution of the United States. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Holland, Nainoa, Kupono, Kahu, and Tamotoa. Grandma loves you. That's why I'm here. Aloha. My name is Wanda Deirdre Poinahau Kama'u Iokia of Nanakuli and descendant of people Captain Cook first laid eyes on in these isles of the sea, and I oppose Bill SB1 as a matriarch of many and those to come. I represent this ohana, Amena Kikiokaina, and above all, our Father in heaven. I say to you, don't be distracted by your obligations to others in this issue. Just choose the right or let the people decide on this matter. In efforts to preserve the ohana, I share this warning with you. Change to Hawaii and all that it stands for is being threatened. The change targets not only our cultural practices, family traditions, parental approved education, morals, values, and standards, but the one thing that we hold dearly, our religious freedom. I plead to you, don't let society lower your tolerance level when you know that it is not part of this land of aloha and our Father in Heaven's plan. It is time to pray and ask for guidance on where our Father in Heaven needs each of you to be and do in this matter. Again, my name is Wanda Iokia, and I oppose this bill, SB1. Mahalo.
Thank you. Okay, you proceed.
I must stand and exercise my freedom of speech to protect my freedom of religion and other freedoms the Founding Fathers acknowledged are God-given and not government-given. They're in danger of being lost, and I'd appreciate your attention and your focus on me. I'm a substitute teacher if you can't tell, okay? If there ever were a time that haste makes waste, it is this. A special session is not the correct venue for the issue of same-sex marriage. These special sessions were designed for times of emergency and disaster, which require quick action, and we are facing neither. I would encourage the Judiciary Committee to refuse to bring SB1 up for a vote. If it were to come to the floor, I would ask the House and Senate to vote it down. Delaying action right here and right now is better than enacting a faulty law and forcing Hawaii to live with far-reaching unintended consequences and years of litigation. Whatever version of SB1 is presented during this session, there has not been ample time for everyone to consider the ramifications and aftermath. What we have seen so far curtails our constitutional right of religious freedom.
Please wrap it up.
Lest there be any mistake, that is not freedom from religion, but it is freedom for individuals to practice religion without government infringement or punishment. I recognize that I have no need or right to impose my belief on anyone, but I retain the right to declare the word of God and to say that in some things a standard matters to everyone, not simply those of my faith. I refuse to have that right legislated away in a week. Senator Sloan, would you please ask me what my opinion on Windsor is?
What is your opinion?
Thank you very much, Senator Sloan. I appreciate that. I believe an important part of Windsor that has not been addressed is that it gave the right to define marriage back to the states. By giving us that right, it means it is not discriminatory, but there's a choice. The people of Hawaii made that choice, and I think we should uphold it. Thank you. Any other questions?
Aloha, Yahi, Senator and the committee here. As a concerned citizen, I am submitting testimony against a special session and the bill that would legalize same-sex marriage. I oppose this special session because it rushes the legislative process and does not give we, the people, sufficient input into the process. I am particularly concerned that the religious exemption clauses are so sparse. Priests, pastors, and churches are exempted under only very limited circumstances. There is no exemption for religious organizations, charities, fraternal societies, nor is there any exemptions for individuals. I'm concerned that my First Amendment rights be protected in the process. We voted on our constitutional amendment in 1998, giving the legislature the power to limit marriage between same-sex couples. And that's the only legitimate way to change this. And that's how we, the people, need to do it. We need to be allowed to decide. Let's not circumvent, the democratic process. Finally, as a registered Hawaiian, I'd like to remind this assembly that there is etched on every state emblem and walls over our state is that saying, "Ua mau ke ea o ka aina i ka pona ia." Words adopted by our beloved Kauikeoli, King Kamehameha III, who led Hawaii with a Christian constitutional monarchy. And when he spoke of perpetuating righteousness, or that which was pono, he spoke of a righteousness founded on biblical principles he embraced. Let's do what our motto all over the state of Hawaii tells us to do. Let us be pono. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Audrey Keesing. In 1996, I ran for State House of Representatives. I was for same-sex marriage. I've waited 20 years. I'm sorry you guys think that it's been such a slow process.
If you speak to the mic,
to me, this has been a very long and troubling experience of 20 years waiting to be able to have equal rights in marriage. I don't see the difference between a man marrying a man, a woman marrying a woman, or a man and a woman marrying in terms of the family stability that can be created that way. I think Hawaii missed the boat economically on the marriages, that you could have made a lot of money being careful about putting these bills through earlier and supporting religious freedom. I'm really sorry that it's taken this long to get this far.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, group 11, you can start to come into the to auditorium. I'm sorry, group 12. I'm sorry, group 12 can start to come to the auditorium. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Aloha, Senators. I'm thankful for the opportunity to come and testify. It's ua mau ke ia o ka aina I ka pono. The life of the land is perpetuated by its righteousness. This whole deal is a sham deal. It's wrong. It's a rat in the closet. It's messy. It destroys our rights, our liberties, our freedoms. It destroys our virtue, our moral principles, and our religion. We, the people of Hawaii, are feeling bullied. You elected officials, I'm told this is a done deal. I hope it's not. I hope you're hearing and feeling the people's hearts. Our true nature in Hawaii is to talk story. We love to talk story. I wish our representatives would have come to talk to us about this bill and educate us. We feel in the dark. And I think you folks are too a bit. Legislators, do your job. Don't rush it. I am opposed to this bill. At the beginning, it was all about benefits. And somehow I think marriage got hijacked into this whole bill.
Okay. Please summarize.
Marriage equality marriage is from the beginning, man and woman. It doesn't, the people that are asking for this right doesn't speak of procreation, nor do they testify of a sacred love.
Thank
I just
you.
want you to know that it's umauke'ia, by the life of the land. Righteousness is what's going to protect the people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha, Senators. My name is Sandra Young. I'm a family law attorney, and I want to register my strong objection to the process, the legislative process. You violated our constitutional rights. We were given notice that we would be able to testify. There are people here that are ready and willing to testify, but you've changed the process. You've cut off our time. It's unfair. It's wrong. I wanted to address the provisions in this bill, which I believe is profoundly defective. If you simply look at the bill, it seems to allow folks that are in domestic partnerships or in reciprocal beneficiaries to be able to get married. Look at page 6 at the top of page 1. You also should consult with family court regarding the consequences of making Hawaii the gay capital of this world. We're the wedding and honeymoon capital of this world, but you want to allow other people from other countries to be able to get divorced here if they're married here. That is patently unfair to our courts. My clients have to wait months to get into hearings for post-divorce hearings, for guardianship hearing. They're inadequately staffed there. Judges are already overworked as well as the staff, and you're overloading them. It will hurt the people of Hawaii. And if I may, one more thing point out, because it'll have profound effects on the parentage issue affecting Native Hawaiians. And I think you should look at that provision again, because you're redefining the word presumption. It should never apply in a case where it's to an impossible set of circumstances. Two people of the same sex cannot produce a child. Please do not redefine the word presumption. It's wrong, and it has a lot of consequences, and it will affect Native Hawaiians. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before my time starts, I wanted to address Clayton. You had the B&B.
Your time starts as soon as you say whatever you want to say, respectfully, because that's the rule with everybody.
Okay. My name is Jeannie Vanna, and I strongly oppose this. I'm concerned about the unintended consequences. This bill has a detrimental effect on the visitor industry. We are all made up of many cultures, and what will HTA do to protect us if cultures that come to visit don't respect homosexuality? This is an attack against religion. It radicalizes public education and is an assault on the religious freedoms. This is against natural law. I'm a farmer, and this really, the next step is we're opening a can of worms. This is next will legitimize prostitution, sex with children, sex with animals, and marriage with animals. This goes against natural law. The path that we are taking will result in endless lawsuits for our society and an increased cost of health care.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, my name is Donna Ann Agor. I'm opposed to SB1 Marriage Equality Act of 2013. It is contrary to the Declaration of Independence, United States Constitution, and which was written under the inspiration of God, who is our supreme lawgiver. I also uphold the Defense of Marriage Act that defines marriage is between a man and a woman, which aligns to God's laws in defining marriage. We must remember that our ancestors stood for truth and righteousness in the sight of God. Our state motto is Uamau Ke Ia Oka'aina Ikapono, the life of the land perpetuated in righteousness. I would fervently and humbly ask that the Hawaii State Committee, House of Representatives, and the Hawaii Governor to uphold the Declaration of Independence, the laws of God, and vote no for Hawaii Marriage Equality Act of 2013 and leave it to the voters to decide. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, Chair He and committee members. I'm in firm opposition of SB1. My name is Sean Kawakami, born and raised in Aiea and lived in Mililani with my beautiful wife Izumi and our 2 daughters. I went to Aimalu Elementary, graduated from Punahou School and UH Manoa. I'm 28 years old and I want you to know that I am from the younger generation, but the millennials, and I do care about this issue. I strongly disagree with redefining marriage. I'm not a homophobe or a hater. I'm a young person, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I value and love all people without discrimination. I am all for people being treated equally. If this legislation is truly about equality of federal rights and benefits for same-sex couples, then let's address it at the proper level of government with the US Congress. Pass legislation that gives same-sex couples in civil unions all the rights and benefits that heterosexual married couples have at the federal level, not by redefining the institution of marriage at the state level. By doing so, you will avoid bringing about divisiveness and more unrest in our great state of Hawaii. Mahalo for your time.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Chair He and members of the committee, my name is Keith Kenyon. I live in Kapolei. I strongly oppose SB1. I encourage you to vote no on this version of a same-sex marriage bill. Additionally, I am highly recommending that we bring our people back into the very democratic process we all have learned to trust. I do appreciate you seeing so many people today, but I'm more interested in the quality of the time we have than the quantity of people. We only get 1 minute here. This session prevents Hawaii's people the opportunity of being completely heard. It prevents the people from voting to accept the bill as law or not, and it basically undermines the democracy I protected for 25 years through my military service. The people of Hawaii can wait 3 months for a regular session to truly develop a law that will forever affect our lives. Why are we rushing due process when we could get it right? We have 13 other states in Washington, D.C. who already passed same-sex marriage laws. None were passed in special session. Hawaii can learn from their successes and shortfalls. Are we doing that?
Please wrap it up.
Yes, sir. Just a little bit more time.
Thank you.
This special session does not afford the appropriate time for you to thoroughly develop a law that will support all Hawaii people, while the proposed bill currently caters to only a few. Our God, our families, and our public accommodation owners should not be discriminated against in a law that supports same-sex marriages. Please let the people decide, and thank you for your time, the opportunity to testify, and your public service.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Chair Lee, He, and members of the committee, thank you for listening today. My name is Shirley Kinoshita. I am a Kapolei registered voter, and I strongly oppose SB1. I'm sad to say that if this bill passes, shocking changes in curriculum will occur. The curriculum will contain same-gender lifestyle definitions, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, that they are to be taught as acceptable in our society, that they are normal, and that they are natural. I am not of the opinion that those lifestyles are acceptable, normal, or natural. In 1998, 617 voters, including myself, overwhelmingly voted for the constitutional amendment to reserve marriage to opposite gender couples. What happened? If nothing else, I ask you today or in the few days ahead that if you really haven't thought about the effect on school curriculum, that you would do so and vote no. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, Chairman He and the rest of the members of the committee. My name is Suping Chow, and I'm here today to strongly oppose SB1 and also to oppose this process of using the special session to try to push forward this bill. I just became a U.S. citizen not many years ago, and from where I come from, I truly value the democracy of this country, the freedom of rights provided by the Constitution of this country. So when we put definition of marriage in the hands of elected legislators, it nullifies the democratic principles that this country has been built on and has made this country so great and so well known in the world. I'm afraid that if we don't protect the democratic process of the issues that affect the people of Hawaii, it might erode the greatness of this country. So I urge the legislators, to please put this thing back into the hands of the people of Hawaii. Let the people decide. Preserve the democracy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before the next person, if you permit me to give you a bit of advice, we understand that we've heard time and again about the special session. Just so that you understand what we understand, we are not in special session because we called ourselves to special session. We were called by the governor. So you folks can keep telling us and demonize the special session, but we're really not the forum that called the special session. It may save you a few seconds with in your time, but just a word of advice that you may wish or may not take. Please proceed.
Good evening, Chair He and Senators. My name is Ernest Chow and I oppose SB1. We're asking you to vote no on SB1. Same-sex marriage should not be passed in a special session because a 5-day special session is not enough time to discuss this controversial issue. Hawaii is the only state rushing into a special session as a result of the Supreme Court decision. If the need was truly great, then why haven't the other 34 states that do not permit same-sex marriage have done so also? A yes vote during the special session is a no vote to democracy because the voice of the people is not heard in 5 days special session, especially if the voice is to amend the bill. The legislatures must respect fundamental democratic principles. The people believe that they addressed this issue in 1998 when they voted for marriage between one man and one woman. The people should decide again. Marriage is not a civil right, and no court, including the Supreme Court, has ever said that it is. SB1 is turning it into a civil right.
Thank you very much.
Please vote no.
Chairman.
Hi, Richard.
Chairman He. Hi.
For those of you who don't know, this is Richard Garcia. He was in the House of Representatives and chaired the House Judiciary Committee. And he's a farmer in Waikani. Thank you for joining us, Richard.
Thank you. Senator He, members of the committee, my name is Richard Garcia and I strongly oppose Senate Bill 1. However, I would like to state from the outset that I really want to thank you for your service to the community. This is a very difficult issue. It's a very divisive issue, but I know in the end that you will make the right decision because you have to balance the diverse interests of many different groups. And we elect you because we trust you to make those decisions. Whether it agrees with us or not, we know that in the end that you will make that decision. The only point that I want to make is that you defer this issue and try and find a compromise where you can provide the benefits to the same-sex couples that want to marry and at the same time preserve traditional marriage in Hawaii. I know that there is an answer, and I know that you can provide that answer with the expertise that you have and the people that you can count on to provide you with the legal help that you will need from the Attorney General's office. We believe in you and we trust in you. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Aloha, honorary panel and members of this room. My name is Pastor Scott Sonoda. I'm a pastor at First Assembly God, but I come to you as I relinquish my voice as a pastor, as a keiki okaina of this land, and what's in best interest of the aloha of Hawaii and the people of Hawaii. I vote individually. You individually vote for yourselves. When making the decision, I strongly oppose Senate Bill 1, and I ask each one of you to hear me today that you vote your individual vote with your family in mind. And I think if you would vote as a father, as a wife, as a husband, as a grandfather, as an uncle, or as an auntie, that you would strongly vote against this bill for the best interests of the family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please proceed.
Aloha, Senator He and members of the committee. This is the first time I have ever done something like this, so please have patience with me. My name is Kathy Kama'u, and I strongly oppose this bill. I have deep concerns about the infringement on our religious constitutional rights. I'm concerned for my 13 mo'opunas. I listened to Governor Abercrombie's speech when he was announcing the special session. It is on his website. I know exactly where he talks about Department of Education when he was asked about it. It's 11 minutes and 50 seconds. He states that it will change the curriculum. He states that it will reflect the law of the land and gives many examples of other times where the curriculum has been changed. I am concerned that this would mean that our children would be taught things that are against our religious beliefs. I have another thing. I have 3,400 and plus signatures. This was collected in just 1 week. And it is the people that oppose this bill, and I know many other petitions have been made. I have my third point, and I hope you bear with me on this. There are thousands of people up there. More than 1,000 people followed the guidelines and submitted to testify here, and they have now been denied a voice. They are not being heard. And I don't know why. I think at least if you're not going to give the people the chance to vote, the least you can do is listen to them on something that will affect their lives. Mahalo.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is David Tetsutani, and I am here to testify in opposition against SB1. Marriage as we know it is an institution of the church ordained by God. And sometimes we can get lost in trying to help people and trying to make sure people have certain rights or benefits. But I believe that the FDA allows time and tests for safe results. And we have recently have seen in the news the effects of drugs that aren't properly vetted or tested, like the oxylite that causes death. I believe same-sex marriage will also eventually cause death. Instinctively, we know this from the physiological design of our bodies. Homosexuals can have their freedom of relations. Please don't allow the unnatural sexual minority to force their lifestyle onto the majority. We don't really know the effects on the family. It's too early to tell. So to legislate a law that will upset the social norm for as long as we've known it would seem impulsive and unwise. Please do not allow this bill to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening, Chairman He and the members of the committee. My name is Jan Tetsutani and I live in Kapolei. I'm here to testify in opposition of SB1 for marriage equality. I ask that you would allow the people to decide on the issue of marriage, as I believe that we're cheating the democratic process by allowing this bill to go through this special session. In a regular session, this bill would have the opportunity to be vetted and examined like all other bills. Why not give this bill the same opportunity, especially on such a contentious issue? It does not seem wise or honoring to the people of Hawaii to try and rush the process of such a bill, especially when we see so many concerned citizens. No one can deny the fact that 34 states, decisions today will affect our tomorrows. I urge you, therefore, please listen to the hearts of the people, honor them, and vote against this bill so that the democratic process may prevail and all concerns may be addressed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Aloha. My name is Dave Bybee. I'm a resident of Laie. And I appreciate what you said, Senator, about you not calling the special session. And I could be wrong, but my understanding is that you don't have to accept it and that you have the right to refuse. But that didn't happen, and here we are. And so because of that, I repeat my first concern, which is that we're here in a rushed special session which doesn't allow the input needed. Second, there are very weak religious exemptions in the bill. And third, and most importantly, an attempt to redefine marriage. A matter of such enormous consequence, as others have said, should not be hastily decided by a small group of people, i.e. the legislature. It should be taken to the enormous body of people who will be most affected by it. We, the people of Hawaii, should be the ones to decide on this and take responsibility for that decision. If we're going to base this decision on the need for benefits, then let's not be selective in our discussion of benefits. Let's include the discussion on what sort of benefits children and society get from traditional institution of marriage. According to millennia of experience and sound research, marriage between a man and a woman is not just a nice option, it's the best scenario we have for the healthy development of children. This should not be about what some socially innovative adults want to try. It should be about what our children need. I ask you, as my elected representatives, to vote against this bill and recommend that this decision be placed where it belongs, in the hands of the people. I realize this may be repetitive, but in a democracy, repetition is power. So today I stand to repeat. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dear Honorable Chair He and all of the other senators present here tonight, hello. My name is Jared Pruitt. I live in Mililani. I am in opposition, vehement opposition of Senate Bill 1. This bill is too broadly worded, specifically in its religious exemption language. In the three provisions, the bill mandates that a church or religious organization must meet each requirement in each provision to be exempt. Why is the bill stating that the church must meet certain requirements instead of explicitly detailing protections for any church or religious organization which does not want a same-sex marriage to occur on its property? For there to be any room in the bill for one to argue that a church does not use its facilities for regular religious meetings in order to force it to perform a same-sex marriage is wrong. All of the other states that have passed a same-sex marriage law, they have ensured that churches or religious organizations not wanting to participate in solemnizing a same-sex marriage were protected. Why isn't Hawaii doing the same thing? I and the 1,479 other people who signed this petition, we all encourage you to please vote no on this bill. A no vote is a preservation of religious liberty, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. I would like to thank you sincerely for your time and your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Senator He and the members of the Judiciary and Labor Committee. Thank you so much for this time that you are giving us to speak our hearts. A minute isn't even close to the amount of time that we need to say the things that are on our hearts. And you have heard our arguments again and again and again. You've heard them all day long. There are thousands who hold the same opinion. I'm not here to belabor the point. I'm not here to continue to repeat what has already been said many times. I simply want to ask you something. See, I'm a mother, and I'm sure that many of you are parents. And are you all right with not having the right to know what is being taught to your child in school? Are you all right with not having the right to decide whether material presented in class is too sensitive for your child's ears? Is it acceptable to you that your child's values will be shaped in this way outside of your purview? I am a mother. The instinct to protect my child is a strong one. The government is not in the business of forcing value structures, and it should not be. I ask humbly and respectfully, let the people decide directly. It is our responsibility. It is our right.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, and thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak. My name is Neilani Breeze, and I am a native Hawaiian. I am a wife, and I am a mother. I grew up in a homosexual household, and I love my parents. On one side, I had a homosexual household. On the other, a straight household. My sisters grew up in the straight home, and I grew up in the homosexual home. there's a definite difference in the way we grew up. Though we were instilled with the same values, no matter which home we grew up in, I am for the rights of homosexuals, equal rights, but I am against the SB1 bill because of the education issues, the Hawaiian culture issues, and all the other issues you folks heard today. I ask that you let the people vote, that you wait, that you come to a compromise on how we can come to a common ground, assess the effects in other states, and to just please both sides as much as you possibly can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Will the next group, I believe it's group 12, please, group 12 can do what, Jen? Line up in the back, yes. And would group 13, if you're not in the chamber, please be prepared to testify after group 12. Please proceed. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Chair He and committee members. My name is Carol Nakata, and I'm opposed to SB1. I have two stories to share. After 9 months of pregnancy, my young nephew and his wife were joyfully expecting to welcome their first child. Instead, his wife died during childbirth. The baby, though, survived. This left the husband and extended family with deep grief and years of coping in hardship. My cousin, after 8 months of pregnancy, was expecting to celebrate a new birth. Instead, the baby was delivered dead in a miscarriage. I cite these stories of real grief and suffering to highlight the risks and sacrifices that heterosexual couples endure in the rendering of their uniquely natural contribution to society, children. Homosexual marriages could never match in value the rigors and expenses borne in heterosexual marriages of natural childbearing with its attendant risks, of raising kids in homes balanced with the unique traits of male and female parents, and in the perpetuation of the human race. I gladly support any special benefits and rights above my own that we as society grant to traditional couples. The value of their contributions to society are unique and far exceed what other persons can offer, either singly or as couples. Should the legislature grant homosexual couples the status of marriage on par with heterosexual couples, a true inequality would result. It would mean the granting of equal rights and benefits for unequal contributions. One last word. There is equality in this world that no one can match or control. It is found at the foot of the cross of Jesus Christ. He died as God in the form of man, shedding his blood to prove his love for each of us here, homosexual and heterosexual alike. Thank you for letting me testify.
Aloha and good evening, Senator He, other senators. My name is David Porter. Senator Ihara, I am a resident and a voter in Senate District 10, have been for roughly 40 years. And I stand against Senate Bill 1. I encourage you to refer this decision back to we the people, or acknowledge the choices reflected in House in Hawaii Revised Statutes Section 572C-2. Either way, please vote no on this bill. The hierarchy of authority within this constitutional republic is as follows. God created man and gave him a very limited subset of his sovereignty and authority. Man created the nation states and gave it a limited subset of his authority. The states, who through their representatives created and gave the federal government a very limited subset of their own sovereignty and authority. And the federal government, which is the lowest, not the highest rung in this ladder. We the people being the highest. At each level, government is of the people, for the people, and by the people. You are our representatives. You are not the House of Lords. You, the state Senate, one of two houses of
Please wrap
representatives
it up.
of the people, elected by and empowered by the people. However, now you're taking action in direct opposition to the noted will of the people, and in fact attempting to strike the statement of their choice from the law.
Please wrap it up.
Yes, sir. There is no First Amendment protection in this bill, and especially in the governor's bill. But I encourage you to return this to the people for our vote. Thank you, sir.
Aloha, Honorable Chair He and Senators of the Committee. I am Mike Ward, a resident of Royal Kunia in Waipahu. I have never testified before a state committee, but I'm here today. As a very concerned senior citizen of this great state, I am submitting this testimony against SB1. I am an ordained minister and a professor at New Hope Christian College in Hawaii. I am also a father of 3 and a grandfather of 9. For the sake of the 9, I am here. In 1998, I voted for what I understood was defining marriage to be between one man and one woman. We felt then, and we still feel now, that for thousands of years, the institution of marriage has been between one man and one woman. I also oppose this bill because of religious protection clauses and that are inadequate for the people of faith to exercise their First Amendment right of speech and religion, a sacred right that I proudly served in the United States Air Force for 30 years to defend. And I've seen it dismantled in state after state and country after country that implemented this. Thank you for your service.
Hello, Senator He. I haven't seen you for about 20 years. It's good to see you. I used to be writing for Dickie Wong when he was here. My name is Mary Larry Zumi. I'm a single lady. I enjoy the gays. I take dance classes with them. And
Your time is running, you know.
all right, they're a lot of fun. So I'm talking really fast. So it's not about gay rights. This bill is about everyone's freedom of speech. The First Amendment rights being sacrificed for a special interest group, the 14th Amendment gay rights. And Roger Milk did this film called Milk. And he said, I know how we'll get this mainstream. We're going to put it under civil rights. You know, they're very smart marketers, so be aware of that. And by the way, to Abercrombie, since it's not you who is the criminal, like you said, you know, 76 offices are open for this special session, and I don't think it costs just $25,000 like they said in the news media. So we're paying for this, all as taxpayers, so please let us have a say. Is that correct? Anyway, this bill is about coercion. This bill is about coercion of big government on everybody's freedoms. It's going to be including the gays. This is just a practice run for everybody's rights just being stripped away every day, exampled all around the country, like in the Wildflower Inn in Vermont. Before they passed gay marriage, these gays came over to stay at their inn. They used the services. They were fine. The Catholic couple, elderly Catholic couple, just said...
Can you wrap it up?
Yes, I will. I'll finish this story in 3 lines. And they said, you know, we don't mind, but we just want you to know we're old-time Catholics. Well, 2 years later, when the Vermont law passed, they were brought to court by these this gay couple, and they've been going through litigation, not 2-3 years, but years and years.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good evening, Senators. My name is Hannah Dido. I'm a registered voter from Manoa. I'm concerned that we are sending the message that a mother and a father is irrelevant to the development of our children. My heart hurts when I hear children from same-sex families like Rosie O'Donnell's son Parker, and even children from single parents crying that they don't feel they have a complete family. And additionally, domestic violence and HIV amongst homosexuals and costs related to remedy these problems increased significantly in Massachusetts, our model state. When even one male homosexual encounter since 1977 disqualifies them from being a blood donor, it makes me ask, is this really the kind of lifestyle that we want to prescribe for people, our children? Thank you.
All right, please proceed. Thank you.
Greetings, Chairman He and committee. I'm Betty Jean Anderson, a married voter and 33-year resident of Hawaii. Please oppose Senate Bill 1. This bill will not protect my freedom of religion or right to free speech as a Bible teacher. People of faith are already experiencing discrimination. Why is the gay community intolerant of Christian doctrine and allowed to accuse us of hate crimes and address us as bigots and homophobes? Psychologist Dr. Peter Blicchington on sex roles explains the gender difference. The male and female embryo are identical till the 7th week of pregnancy. The hormones, androgens and testosterone for the male and progesterone and estrogen for the female wash through the brain and spinal cord of the embryo, determining the male and female genders and characteristics, which together procreates the human family and the human race through the institution of marriage. Please protect our civil rights of people of faith. Governor Abercrombie told Representative McDermott he expects polygamy suits within a year. Please oppose Senate Bill 1.
Thank you.
My name is Lauren Anderson. I'm a registered voter from Eva Beach, and I thank you, senators, for listening to us. I'm asking you to oppose SB 1 because marriage is a fundamental building block of society. It is designed by God to transform our hearts from self-centeredness to character and love. When you eliminate the challenge of the gender difference, and those of you who are married know what I'm talking about, you reduce most of marriage to an act of self-actualization or fulfillment. When you add children, and by the way, Professor Higgins really needed Liza Doolittle not to be more like a man. When you add children, which are only produced by unions of men and women, to the experience of marriage, the growth from self-centeredness accelerates again. Anyone in family knows this. Same-sex marriage isn't marriage. Don't confuse the generations that will follow us and weaken their character with a lie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to testify. Thank you, Chair He. My name is Paul Hurst, and I'm a constituent in your district. I am rising to voice my opposition to SB 1 for the following 3 reasons. Number 1, this bill has been unilaterally rushed through by Governor Abercrombie. Why is he in such a hurry? Why are you putting up with his bullying tactics? If we are to overturn thousands of years of custom, culture, and tradition, it warrants a much more lengthy deliberation than a special session can afford. If this bill is passed, there's no way to unpass it, no matter what the consequences. Shouldn't we at least wait a few years and study what the consequences of the civil union law are before we rush into this? And number 2, there is no need for this bill. Hawaii already has a civil union law that gives same-sex couples all the benefits of marriage granted by the state of Hawaii. This is not a civil rights issue, nor does it have very much to do with equality. It is merely an attempt by the homosexual lobby to force societal acceptance of a lifestyle. And number 3, the main societal benefit of marriage is the protection of children. SB 1 will cheapen the value of marriage if it is passed. The effect will be to make children more vulnerable as parents take their marriage vows less seriously. And finally, at the very least, more study needs to be done on the effects of children adopted or raised by same-sex couples before rushing into this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chairman He, members of the committee. My name is Rogelio Herrera Jr., registered voter in Mililani, first-generation Mexican-American. After retiring from the military, my wife and I chose to stay in Hawaii because we felt there was no better place on earth to raise our 11 children. We love the culture, the spirit of mutual respect, community support for families, and the opportunity to pass along to our children the same moral values that were given to us by our parents. This bill threatens everything. For this reason and the following, I offer testimony against this bill. First, same-sex marriage is not a civil right. I lived in Washington, D.C. during the civil rights era of the 1960s. As a graduate student, I studied American history and international politics. Sexual preference is not in the same category as civil rights. To put it there grossly cheapens the sacrifice made by true civil rights heroes. Second, please do not ignore the studies that are rigorous, comprehensive, and compelling. Marriage is not LGBT marriage is not an appropriate place to raise children. My own adult daughter, who has been a lesbian for 10 years, agrees wholeheartedly. Finally, like you, Chairman, you bet. Like you, Chairman, we did not ask for this special session, but here we are. So please do the right thing. Vote against this bill.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Kaleni Eliker. I reside in Waipahu, and I am 19 years old, and I oppose this bill. But to state that my choice to oppose this bill isn't merely based on a biased opinion because of my religious background, I state that I understand both sides. Growing up, I grew up without a father. You know, I want you guys to take this to heart. I speak to the people as well that is for it. I grew up without a father. I lacked a father. My biological father left me. My stepdad didn't adopt me under his wing. He didn't like me, but around my freshman year, I became a homosexual, and I practiced homosexuality. And to be real, the fact is I thought I could fill the void with homosexuality, the love of a father. Reaching my high school years, I openly practiced it, and I was still involved in church. I told people in church, and they loved me, you know. So I don't know how you guys feel, but the church that embraced me in just total love. In the end, this past month, I fully was delivered from homosexuality. I'll be closing. I encountered God's love to the fullest. I encountered Him on a personal level. I'll be wrapping up, I'm sorry. But I want you guys to take this to heart I know that it is hard to understand, and this is a sensitive topic. Knowing what I went through, this is a topic that shouldn't be discussed in 5 days. And I know that it isn't you folks bringing the special session, but I know you guys do have the ability to stop it. You guys can vote no, or you guys can delay it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
My name is Melanie Vakalalambure, and I stand in opposition of this bill. I believe that we, the people of Hawaii, are given the right to vote for our representatives, senators, and those in authority, but we are not given this right to vote for such an important issue that will affect all the people of Hawaii. Growing up in Hawaii, I've learned the value of family and ohana, and now with a family of my very own, I appreciate the traditional values that have been passed down to me. In the world that we're living in, things are popular for a moment, trends and fashions change, but I believe that the institution of marriage between a man and a woman is something that must stand in place. I believe that this is not just about the federal benefits for same-sex marriage, as only 0.2% of Hawaii people have even filed for civil unions. But indeed, this includes hidden agendas that will affect my First Amendment rights, my children's rights and education, and the future and life of this land. Please don't be afraid to let the people decide, and truly may the life of this land be forever perpetuated in righteousness. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair here and Senate Committee members. Thank you for the opportunity to bear my testimony before you tonight. My name is Pakela Kaka, and I'm from Kaimuki, and I stand in strong opposition to Senate Bill 1. I understand that you guys have heard a lot of people talking tonight about the religious exemptions, and the only thing I want to say about that is that conditional protections are not adequate protections. What I would rather talk about is what I've observed. I've been working hard to understand this issue for the past month, and what I've observed is a great division. And what I see is division in the society. Gays are demonizing the churches to be hateful, to be unaccepting of equality, to be disrespectful of relationship. There's misunderstanding. There's misunderstanding with the media, painting it that only churches are going to be affected by this, that there is protections, there is serious misunderstandings. The churches are upset about how hypocritical it is to grant rights to one group with one hand and to strip rights from another group with your other hand. There is misunderstanding, there is division in your people. Senator Leslie Hara, as my representing senator, would you please ask me how I feel about this division?
Please wrap it up.
Hawaii Revised Statute 5.75 talks about the Aloha Spirit, kindness, unity, humility, patience, and agreeing and understanding each other. At the end, it states that our legislature, our Senate, should consider the Aloha Spirit. Passing this in special session will condemn us to that division. Granting this will condemn us to that. And I understand that I will be finishing up, sorry. I understand that you're not in control of the special session, but you do control the outcome, and you can kill it here in committee and not have us go through this. I ask you to please Please consider the words of a young 19-year-old man who has
Please wrap it up.
studied this. I'm grateful for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator He, members of the panel, my name is Robert Matsumoto. I am an attorney in private practice. I have been involved with civil rights issues for many years as a former president of the Hawaii affiliate of the affiliate of the American Center of Law and Justice. First of all, I disagree with the testimony given this morning by Attorney General Louis. I believe without another amendment to the Constitution, any bill emanating from this committee or from the legislature of the whole may be unconstitutional. I have read Supreme Court cases in Hawaii which gives parameters by which they would look at the language of an amendment. And one of the most important things is that they look to the understanding of the people who voted for the amendment. In this case, obviously, the people voted to define marriage as limited between one man and one woman. Also like to point out that because of the truncated way this special session is being handled, the rights of the people of Hawaii have been breached. That may be another basis for an unconstitutional rendering of any bill that emanates from this session. And lastly, there is no civil right involved here. The late Dr. Martin Luther King, who I think arguably is the greatest civil rights activist and practitioner in the 20th century, stated in a letter from the Birmingham jail that any unjust law not based on moral law or natural law would be not law at all. And in that sense, any bill that would sanction same-sex marriage is not a natural law, part of natural law or part of the moral law. So therefore, it's not really a law at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Matsumoto.
Chairman He, members of the committee, I'm Phil Yasuhara, registered voter from Kapolei. I oppose Senate Bill 1. The 1998 constitutional amendment gives the legislature the right to reserve marriage to opposite-sex couples, not the power to redefine marriage. I can assure you that as one who voted for the amendment, I thought I was voting to reaffirm natural marriage. You, the legislature, obviously agreed with me because you passed Hawaii Revised Statute 572C2. Last session, this body passed almost 300 bills with the expectation that all those affected would comply with the intent of each piece of legislation. In the past 15 years, we, the people of Hawaii, have granted you only one specific authority, to reserve marriage to opposite-sex couples. If you believe that we, the people of Hawaii, have changed our minds, then it is incumbent upon you to vote no on this bill. To vote yes on this bill is a vote against the express will of the people, which you yourselves previously acknowledged. This probably is the most divisive issue you have ever faced. I think you would be well aware that there's a sizable portion of your constituency who do not support this bill.
Please wrap it up.
I therefore urge you to vote no on this bill and let the people decide, not only because it's the most prudent choice for you politically, but also because it's the right thing to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Chair He, Vice Chair Shimabukuro, and members of the Senate Committee on Judiciary and Labor. Thank you all for being so patient and listening to us, to all of us so far today, and for your open minds. My name is Leslie Jones, and you have my written testimony in opposition to Senate Bill 1. As an island girl, a constituent, a small business person, and a mental health professional, I'd like to address some points I heard made earlier. First, the department chair at the University of Hawaii Psychology Department left you with a mistaken impression. First, she did not let you know that experts disagree. Second, she indicated that being gay is not a choice, which flies in the face of the evidence that hundreds, if not thousands, of former gays have voluntarily changed to a heterosexual lifestyle. This also gets to your point, your question, Chairman, earlier about why is a black and white marriage different from an LGBT marriage? Because race is immutable, and a gay lifestyle choice is just that, it's a choice. You also asked earlier, how do we reconcile the different religious views from Calvinists, Buddhists, and so forth in terms of Christianity? I would say, to keep it simple, look to Jesus' life and his words. His standard is higher than all of ours, and he can help you to know exactly what we're looking at in terms of supporting traditional marriage. Lastly, obviously you have options. You can include opt-out language if you have to keep the bill as is. You can extend the effective date a year to collect more information. You can consider title protection like we have for other types of licenses, since this is a marriage license bill. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Honorable Chair Chi and members of the committee. My name is Shirley Ching, and I would like to inform you that I am not in favor of Senate Bill 1, as it infringes on what myself and my church believe, Miracle Faith Apostolic Church, that God had ordained over 2,000 years ago the marriage is between one man and one woman. We believe that matrimony is one of the 7 sacraments that God provided for a man and a woman. Marriage is a supernatural act performed by the divine grace of God so that 2 human beings, a man and a female, becomes one flesh. Our Lord said that in the Bible, let no man separate what he had put together. This Senate bill, if passed, would separate the marriage law that God had provided for a man and woman. By changing the law of marriage, it is taking away our rights and belief that marriage is a living sacrament from God, holy between one man and one woman. I'm asking you to please reconsider my testimony and others that not to pass Senate Bill 1 and allow the people to vote.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, my name is Heidi Ka'aihui Laksina, and I am a native Hawaiian and was born and raised in this island, and I am a registered voter on the Big Island. I strongly oppose Senate Bill 1 for what's intentions say isn't really what the people of Hawaii are getting, equality for all. For how can you give same-gender couples marriage and yet deny those of us of faith-based religion our First Amendment rights? I heard that if this bill passes, that Hawaii could be looking into gaining millions of dollars due to the same-gender marriages that will be coming to our way. Yet not all the expenses, not at the expenses of our keiki, our churches, and our business. Hawaii is not for sale. The governor was heard saying in regards to this bill, justice delayed is justice denied. Justice for who? 1/5 of 1% of the people who took on civil unions 2 years ago? What about the rest of us, the 1.3 million people who love our Hawaii for what it is?
Please wrap it up.
I think that we should allow the people to vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, my name is Sheldon Laksina, and I was born and raised here on Oahu in Waimanalo. My wife and I have 2 children and 3 grandchildren, and I am the lead pastor of New Hope Hilo, Hawaii. As a citizen, I oppose SB1. The 3 basic components of marriage are 2 people joined together, solemnization and procreation. This bill will give the first 2, but will never fulfill the third. You can redefine the definition of the moon and call it a sun. It may orbit like the sun, have the same shape as the sun, but it will never be able to shine like the sun. Slaves in our country were freed, but the definition of slavery was not changed. Women have the right to vote now, but the definition of woman remains the same. Therefore, changing the definition of marriage does not make for equality, and keeping the definition of marriage does not judge gays at all or make them second-class citizens. Laws will not change the hearts of those who already treat gays disrespectfully. We as a people may have evolved and changed, so redefine civil unions, not marriage. That is true equality. Tell me, with such smart
Please wrap it up.
people in our government, we cannot do better in offering same-sex couples the same rights, benefits, medical fairness, and equality without changing the definition of marriage. In closing, picture yourself on your deathbed. Your colleagues and the governor most likely will not be there, but your family will be. Do not make your decision based on pressure or what a small minority of the states are already doing, just to go with the flow. Rivers do that, only
Thank you
to
very
end up
much.
going down the waterfall. If you vote yes on this bill, you will regret that decision the moment you do if your heart wishes to vote no. Your children will see you as heroes when they find out you went against the grain of pressure and turned from a yes bill to a no. Because
Thank you.
thought of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm not sure. I was sure before the presenter. Group 13, please assemble in the back. 17.
Good evening, Honorable Chair He and members of the Committee on Judiciary and Labor. My name is Francine Kabab. I am a registered voter from Wahiawa, and I am in strong opposition of Bill SB1. I am a mother of 4 school-aged children, and I am here on their behalf. Since the bill is relating to equal rights, then where is the rights of my children's future? Give me the rights as a parent to vote. Give me my equality. I want to vote. So let me be accountable by voicing it on the ballots. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Chair He and committee members. My name is Connie Wong, and I'm a medical doctor and a citizen of Hawaii. I'm strongly opposed to this bill. In every state where same-sex marriage has passed, and in Canada, the school curriculum has radically changed. 12 and 13-year-olds are being taught about sodomy, rimming, fisting, toys, and other acts too crude to mention. Keiki are also given a list of gay bars and hangouts with advertisements such as, "We like young guys." HIV is a devastating disease that has recently jumped up 22% in boys aged 13 through 24, according to a CDC study published in 2012, and parents are kept in the dark, deemed helpless to protect their children from HIV and other STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, that could cost them their children's lives. While I was in med school, I volunteered at a place called Calcutta House, which is a hospice for men dying from AIDS. These men suffered so much. They were so thin. They looked like they came from Auschwitz. They were extremely weak, and they were really suffering. Please do not put our keiki here. Kill this bill. Give the people, especially parents, a chance to consider the consequences and let the people decide. Mahalo for listening.
Thank you very much.
Chair, Vice Chair, honorable members of this committee, thank you very much for having us. My name is Antonia Agbanawag, and I stand in strong support of Senate Bill 1 relating to equal rights. From the student perspective, my generation is preparing ourselves to make outstanding contributions to our communities. Here at UH Manoa in particular, we have outstanding and diverse students that are looking ahead to start their careers, but many are looking back across the Pacific, and many are leaving this place. We cultivate and empower great minds and talents, but we are suffering from a brain drain. We watch our best and our brightest leave the island for better and more opportunity. Without equality for all, we continue to push people away, but by support of Senate Bill 1 and marriage equality, we can make the Aloha State a truly welcoming place for all, for each and every student a fair place to learn and express freely, and afterward, a wonderful place to stay, to work, play, live and love without bias or restriction, and furthermore, an open and safe place to raise a family in whatever form that may be. So mahalo for your time and careful consideration in support of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening and aloha, Chair He and members of the committee. My name is Callie Reed, and as the president of the Young Democrats at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, I'm here to represent our strong support for Senate Bill 1 relating to equal rights. Hawaii is known for its diverse population and abundance of cultural influences. It's important to recognize that allowing equal rights for same-sex couples that enter into a marriage is necessary in maintaining these diversities, as well as supporting equality for all citizens, regardless of each individual sex. Same-sex marriage and marriage equality in Hawaii is long overdue. Being known as the Aloha State, our elected officials should extend the aloha and acceptance across the state for equality for all couples. As young, forward-thinking Democratic student leaders at a leading university in Hawaii, the Young Democrats at UH Manoa endorse marriage equality on campus and throughout the Aloha State. Our organization sanctions justice and equality in all aspects of life. We encourage elected officials to make the right choice and be a part of history in Hawaii by becoming the 15th state in the nation to support same-sex marriage and equality for all Ohanas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I beg your pardon? Thank you, Jen. This is the beginning of group number 13. Please proceed.
Aloha. I am Doran Porter, loving husband of Abdul Halik Porter. We are from Kaneohe, Hawaii. I am here to testify in strong support of SB1. Some 61 years ago, I wore these shoes. My parents took me into the church to be baptized with the hope that going into the church that early, I would never feel that I wasn't a part of God's family. I sat here throughout this day and heard myself and others whom I love being referred to as they and them. Religious extremism is nothing new. About 60 years ago, another civil rights issue dominated the political sphere, interracial marriage. Christians spewed Bible verses from Old Testament that clearly showed that God did not want the chosen people mixing with other cultures. And more recently, in October of 1996, a woman had the tip of her thumbs cut off for wearing nail and varnish. I could go on and on. Yes, we are used to those who would offer the right to practice religious freedom who would deny us our right to practice religious freedom because it differs from their own. And yes, we are used to politicians who cower to those extremist views. Rather than standing for the rights of the minority, however, this should not be the case in America, and it certainly should not be the case in Hawaii Nye.
Thank you very much.
Dear Honorable Chair He and members of the committee, thank you so much for the privilege of being here to address you. I support marriage as we have always known it, and therefore I oppose Senate Bill 1. My name is Rick Laser. I am a pastor trained in social work, and I pastor a church in Senator Galutaria's district. We focus on the homeless in our community, kind of a Kalakaua group. Two aspects of this really trouble me. The process and the content. You've heard it all today, but a few leaders make a blatant attempt today to simply rewrite 1988 history as though we're not looking. On his website, the governor deceives the public 180 degrees about the intent of 15 years ago. And Attorney General Louis can just strike whole paragraphs from previous law and pretend none of it ever happened and we never had an opinion. And for the content, the religious exemptions language is never going to be working right because the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission and some in the Senate believe the First Amendment protects only individuals. And my last thing is the Section 8 of the bill, if you've looked at the divorce provisions that are there. It seems to me this is going to be a bill that we have to pass so that we can find out what's in it. You need the time to study this sufficiently so that we can get at it in January at the very least, or vote no at the most. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak tonight. I am opposed to SB1. Like the gentleman before the pastor, they are a minority. I am a native Hawaiian of an indigenous race, and I too am a minority. Well, that's how I feel. And the reason why I say this is because we're so busy wanting them to have their civil rights. And I say, what about the natives? What about us? We have civil rights. So I speak to you, Senator Galataria, Senator He, and Senator Solomon. We are Hawaiians. You and I have been chosen to lead our people. Let's lead our people in a way that they will feel first. Because this is our island, this is our land. We invite people here. We are the aloha. And the real aloha is your queen and the president at that time voted, legal document in Hawaii, marriage is one man and one woman. So please, take our leadership and let's do what's right for the people, for our people, so that we may not feel like second-class citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, I am a resident of Nanakuli, and did you know the Supreme Court ruling on the Defense of Marriage Act, DOMA, did not overturn DOMA in its entirety. This myth is being used extensively in the media to persuade the public into thinking that Hawaii must now act on our marriage laws. In fact, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down only one section of DOMA, Section 3, so that same-sex couples that are legally married in one state are allowed all the federal tax benefits of other married couples in that state. Declaring Section 3 of DOMA unconstitutional means that the federal government cannot deny legally married same-sex couples the federal benefits that are given to married heterosexual couples. There is no other state in the union that is rushing into special session to pass a same-sex law. Should this law pass, Hawaii, the Hawaii legislature, will be the first elected body in the world to elect same-sex marriage overnight and forever obliterate thousands of years of culture, custom, and tradition. I ask you, board, please let the people decide. Thank you.
Senator He, honorable members of the
Judiciary Committee. My name is Jack Hogue, and I think many of you remember that I was co-chair of Traditional Marriage 98, when after several years of measured testimony of various debates throughout the community, we had a constitutional amendment bill that passed by 70% of the people. We had 3 years of people having their democratic right upheld. I implore the committee members that you will give the same opportunity to the people of Hawaii. You know all the reasons about how it got rushed through, and it's not your fault, but the people of Hawaii want to be heard on this issue. And we did it in the 90s. I think that this Senate, I know many of you personally, are up to the same standards of that Senate in 1996, 97, and 98. And I'd appreciate your aloha on that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Jack, can I ask you a question? Can you repeat again what you said that, I'm sorry I was distracted when you were talking about what the previous, did you say 98? I can't remember what you said.
Yes, well, I said at the outset that you might recall I was co-chair of the Save Traditional Marriage 98. And in those years, 96, 97, 98, and prior even, we had many committee meetings, many public testimonies for several years before this issue got before the people. And it finally did get before the people. And when the people were heard, 70% of the people voted overwhelmingly for saving traditional marriage. Did I answer your question, sir?
Well, I thought you said that you wanted us to do something, and but I may have misunderstood you. I'm sorry, Jack. The microphone was being fixed when you were talking. So.
No, I just would like the people of Hawaii to have the same opportunity.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Jack. Nice to see you.
Aloha.
Hello, Senators. I'm Bernard Mendonça. This is a day that I never thought I would say. I'm happy my parents are not here to see what's going on in Hawaii today. And my mother and father worked for all the war years, and he would not be very upset to see what's going on today, that some senators that are saying yes to this bill are not considering or looking at the people and representing the people that they work for. Yeah, I gave blood for many years, and they cannot give blood even to me. And when I give blood to all people and help all people. I respect all people. In the end, I want justice and truth for all. And I respect all people. I can say that from the bottom of my heart. And I heard words like civil rights, hate. I don't hate anybody. Any of you hate anybody? The only thing I hated was shooting somebody when I was in Vietnam. That I hated. And why don't all of you that are voting yes for this, let the people of this state decide this?
Thank you very much.
Aloha. Thank you for staying so late and working on this bill. My name is Mike DeWert. I'm from District 50 on the windward side, and I am rising in strong support of SB1. I was raised religious. I used to belong to one of those religions that wanted to impose its will on the rest of the world. I've read the Bible cover to cover twice. You know what? Nowhere in the Bible is there a word about their legal right to visit your spouse in a hospital. There's no word about the legal right for your spouse to inherit your pension. There's no word about the legal right of your spouse to be on your health insurance. These and a host of other legal rights, duties, and obligations are automatically granted by legal marriage, not religious marriage. I now, having been raised Catholic, see that the exclusionary attitude is wrong. There is a higher right, and that is the right of all our citizens not to have other people's religions imposed upon them. Marriage, these rights should be legal rights. The Catholic Church got used to religious marriage and legal marriage being separated. I'm sorry, legal divorce and religious divorce being separated. They'll get used to it for marriage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Aloha. My name is Joseph Paul Kalei, and I am Native Hawaiian. I just recently got married in February, traditionally marriage. I believe that this state should remain the same as it was, so that my children and my generation after me will enjoy the same rights that I had, and for my grandmother and my mother and my fathers before us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jim Miller, and I'm against SB1. Senator He, I heard you ask time and time again if the people seen that education was going to be affected in this bill. We all know that it doesn't mention the fact that education is in the bill, but once this is enacted, then you have to make adjustments for education and things like that. And if you go on to look at what's going on around the country, like Texas, there's teachers, they're not allowed to talk about the things they teach. The children aren't allowed to tell the parents what they're being taught. And that's wrong. The last time a government decided to do that, we ended up with Auschwitz and a bunch of other death camps. So that is totally wrong. And as for marriage, the government didn't even get involved in marriage until the 1700s. And they got involved in it by passing laws against interracial marriage and interracial sex. And with that, in the I'm almost done. In the 1860s, I'm just gonna put it out the way it is written on the internet, some greedy politicians found a way to make money to legalize. Instead of righting the wrong and getting rid of the law, they legalized, they came up with a marriage certificate to legalize.
Please wrap it up.
Okay, give me 1 second. They came up with a marriage certificate to where you can legally marry even though it's against the law. And I think that we need to be very, very wise in what we do. And I want to leave you with this final thought. You are representatives of the people. What you believe should not matter. It's what the people want that matters.
You know, just a reminder, we're starting to get off of focus again. We were doing really good, keeping to the 1 minute. So if we can refocus, that would be greatly appreciated. Please proceed.
Good evening. My name is Benjamin Kapuakanahele Weiss. I'm 50% Hawaiian. I come from Waianae, and local boy, so I'm going to give them to you in local boy style, I guess. Let's say we were all in an elevator together. You wanted to go to your floor, I wanted to go to mine. And I stop you from pressing your button because I want to go to my floor. And I'm going to take all you guys with me. The minority cannot tell you what to do. So if I stop you from pushing your button, from letting the people vote, you would want to push your button, right? Everybody. Everybody wants to go to their floor. So don't push mine. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Belinda Jacobs from the Christian Counseling and Research Centers of America. I am a trained researcher. I have a Bachelor of Science degree in physics from UCLA. On our board, I have MD doctors that report to the U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs as minority Indian leaders. I oppose Senate Bill 1 relating to equal marriage rights without equal but detrimental results. This legislative body, our populace, voted in 1998 what the definition, giving the legislature to define marriage as a woman and a man. In the Civil Unions Bill, you legislative body defined marriage as a woman and a man. I personally believe in supernatural marriage. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And that is both for the heterosexual and the homosexual. Hawaiians are the #2 active cases of AIDS in Hawaii. I'm very disappointed to see the statistics change, merging all the Asian cultures together to mute this issue.
Please wrap it up.
Methamphetamine is the #1 and #2 in the United States in this state. We spend $500 million in Hawaii on crystal meth. What misplaced priorities to spend money on a special session, which, according to Representative Galbert, you, legislative body, no, we're tired of being flim-flammed around here.
Thank you very much.
We were told we had 2 minutes per person when we put in
We've
our
tried to
emails.
keep it to 1 minute. You have exceeded that, and you're
Okay.
at 2 minutes.
Okay, at Massachusetts, once gay marriage came into being, it is 30% more HIV and AIDS from 2000 to 2009. This is not the general population's problem. This is the gay and lesbians' problem.
Thank you very much.
They might not donate blood because of the high statistics of HIV in their blood. If you want more research, you can find it on our webpage, ChristianCounselingofAmerica.org. God bless everybody, and my people do go
Thank
straight and
you
work with
very, very much.
Thank you for your patience. My name is Cindy Arakaki. I'm a first-time voter, and I've hesitated to vote in the past only because of uncertainties. And those uncertainties have surfaced for me this time around. I stand in opposition of the Senate Bill 1. I came wanting to share my views, but many people have already shared them, so I'm not going to repeat it. I just wanted to share this point that with you and the public, that we are asked to love God and love one another with love and respect. The process of this bill, I feel, does not meet the respect guidelines. I don't feel respected that I, as a voter, have an opportunity for my voice to be heard other than this format. I would like for the people to have that decision and take this to the people for their vote to be had. I humbly ask that you consider that to be made in this reading, but also I ask that you be open to Theonustos, and that's having God's breath upon you, and to lead with your heart and be open to hearing every area. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you all for your attention. My name is Rhonda Renault. I'm a wife and a mother of 3 wonderful children. I'm opposed to same-sex marriage. I know that people struggle with gender confusion. They are very nice people. I know a lot of nice people, but it's not what is intended for us. Studies show that gay behavior is harmful to the human body. We teach our children not to do things that are harmful to our bodies, like smoking. But do you want to teach them that sex between the same gender is okay when it is harmful to us? I recently took my 11-year-old daughter shopping in the mall. While she was trying on clothes, men were coming in to try on women's clothes. And this was very upsetting and scary for me and my daughter. My daughter is already shy, and I don't want men in my dressing room or in my bathroom or in my schools. I don't want this to be taught in my school, and I don't want it to be forced in my church. It's not okay. In Hawaii, we love all people, but we don't like their actions, and it shouldn't be forced on us. I feel an invasion of privacy and fear for my family's safety. A lot of people in favor of this bill aren't even from here. Our Constitution protects the sanctity of marriage between a man and a woman. Why is this even coming up for a vote, and why aren't we given a say in it? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ricardo Gregorio. I came here, I've been here since 8 o'clock a.m. this morning, and I just found out this meeting on the TV that there was a 10:45 a.m. special session regarding to gay. I'm not prepared to anything like everybody else came in here, but let me just give you just a moment of myself. I came from a divorced family. meaning my first marriage was divorce, and I ended up with 3 kids alone, very young, until the wife took them away from me at age 8. To this day, I have a son that has AIDS because he took the wrong way when he was a teenager with his mom. Okay, I still love him very much. God blessed me with a new family now, living here in Hawaii with 3 more kids, very young. And so when I heard this here, all I can tell you, I'm glad all 7 of you are on the chair. God gave us common sense. Every one of you have common sense, and every one of you right now are on the checkpoint right now. So either let the people vote, or they'll vote for you next 2014, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Senators. My name is Janella Hung, and I'm a registered voter from Moanaloa. I'm strongly opposed to Senate Bill 1 for 2 reasons. First, this bill is not about giving equal rights with regards to marriage to same-sex couples, but is in truth according new rights to same-sex couples at the expense of destroying the historical, cultural, and societal definition of marriage in Hawaii, as well as rushing headlong into a course of action without carefully considering and allowing enough public input into the many intended and unintended consequences that will follow. Second, and most importantly, at its heart, the issue of same-sex marriage is really a question of ethics, whether same-sex attraction is a matter of choice or not. If it's a choice, then it does not deserve equal treatment. If it is a choice, then it does. But since both sides are argued emphatically and neither side is willing to concede, this is an issue best decided by the people of Hawaii in a constitutional referendum. America's founding fathers created our U.S. Constitution in such a way so that controversial such as this could be decided by the people, and Hawaii's Constitution mirrors this. Therefore, I implore you, the elected public servants of Hawaii, to respect the process of democracy and let the people decide in this issue. This is an issue that generates such controversy and will have such a widespread effect on everyone in Hawaii. It's not right that a small number of people, I'm almost done, make the choice from 1.5 million people in Hawaii on this divisive issue. Please put the issue to a public referendum to truly settle the question about whether or not the people want to have a new institution of same-sex marriage, or if they've not changed their minds and want to reserve marriage to opposite-sex couples. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before I start, I would like to first, can I please have everybody's attention?
You know, we're trying to keep everybody the same. So once you start talking, the clock starts tolling. We're not changing the rules for anybody. We're making it all the same. So you can start when you start talking. We'll start tolling the clock. Please proceed.
Okay, please have your attention. I am Heavenly Asato, and I am 17 years old, and I go to Christian Academy. And I would like you to know that this really does affect my future, the future of our generations, the future of your children. Do you want them to be taught these things in their schools of gays? And we love the gays as Christians. And yet, you know what? That this is not right. I have a future. And I am going to be a citizen of this state. This is my future. And I would just like you to know that. And that we have also sent out petitions, many petitions that you may have seen already, that has been student-led under the ages of 30, that one representative has issued, that has said that we do not care. I am one of them that does care. Please, for my future and for this state, for my fellow students, please.
Thank you very much.
Oh, can I give this to the sheriff over there? This is actually for him. There are more coming, sir.
Thank you.
My name is Stanley Kusuhara, and I'm strongly against this SB1. I share many of the same sentiments as the speakers before me, but my concern is that you seem to be sitting in judgment of the people of Hawaii. Back in 1998, when that legislature convened, they showed great wisdom in letting the people vote on this issue. And I pray that you will show the same kind of wisdom by letting the people vote on an issue such as this. Thank you.
Honorary Chairman He and members of the Judiciary Committee, I am opposed to SB1. My name is Pastor Daniel Kaneshiro. But please come with me to visit your past as a young child with a mom and dad. And when time was right, like everyone in this room, we chose a relationship of man and woman or same sex. But we did it as an adult. But what about the young one-year-old infant that gets adopted into a male-male or female-female marriage? How would it change their upbringing? And how would it affect their perspective on the biblical couple of man and woman? Shouldn't the young infant have the same opportunity we all had to experience a mom and dad, and then at an appropriate age choose a relationship, whether or not it be man and woman or same sex? Finally, I ask each of you of the committee, how would each of you have grown up if you were raised by two men or two women? Please let the people decide.
Thank you very much.
Senator He and the rest of our senators, thank you for your patience. My name is Michael Abagon. I'm a minister of a Southern Baptist church here in Hawaii. But I come to you as a husband to my wife, Christina, and as a father to my three sons, Micah, Miko, and Meshach. I tell my children that when you make decisions, you better think it right. And I tell my children, don't be hasty. I tell my children, what's going on right now, this fast track is so fast, they need to reconsider. And I ask the committee that you would reconsider. I also tell my children that this is a land of ohana. It means that we respect every viewpoint, but we do not have to legalize every behavior. We tell our children, accept everyone, but when a habit crosses the line that our Creator puts, that's where we set our limit. And I want to ask the committee, please seriously consider turn down this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Group 14, if you will kindly assemble near the back of the auditorium. We're near the end of Group 13. Thank you, Jen. Yeah.
Chair He, members of the committee, Judiciary Labor. My name is John Ferris. I have my wife standing next to me, Kyoko Ferris. I add my voice and testimony in opposition to Bill SB1. I strongly oppose to the way the governor and you, the elected officials, have secretly decided on this bill before it getting to the floor of the Senate and House. The principles of democracy, the democratic process, and the people are being undermined, disregarded, and trampled on in this special session. I support equality for all, including the rights of conscientious and religious freedoms. The wording of this bill is mean-spirited and cynical. It contradicts and eliminates religious freedom. As our elected representatives, we request you to provide as much protection for religious and conscientious freedoms as you have done to protect the opposing view. This bill should be rejected and given due process where the wording of this bill can be properly examined and agreed upon during the regular session as all other bills. The people have already voted on this issue and elected you to serve as their voices, should you have a say in public policy.
Thank you very much.
This legislation should not be done in secrecy.
Please wrap it up.
Yes. Should not be done in secrecy behind closed doors with only one side being heard and catered to. You say that it's only the governor's doing. You're all in this together, and if you're not, prove it. Thank you. Thank you.
Aloha mai, my name is Namele Lani Akiona. I'm 19 from the Big Island of Hawaii. I come before you all humbly and with all of my aloha, and I have been called here on the behalf under the authority of our Lord, God, and Savior. I'm here to testify my freedom of religion against the same-sex marriage bill. As a Christian, I do not condone or ignore sin, nor am I here to judge or condemn anyone. Rather, I have come to share the love of God and the forgiveness of sins that is available to all humans, including the gay community, through Jesus Christ. This occasion is not a battle between Christians and the gay community. Or as Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 says, "For the battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of the evil heavenly realms." And that should be the reason why Christians have come here today. I do understand the viewpoint of equality and human rights, but what is our purpose as humans? We must all have a purpose in order to even recognize the possibility of good
Please wrap it
or
up.
evil, thank you, or justice. Our purpose and destiny cannot be simply explained by biology or science or just death. Every human being feels hope in their heart for something perfectly good and divine. That is our human nature. And through this bill, our purpose as humans become distorted, desacralized, unconnected, and insignificant. And to give sanction to same-sex marriage would be to give approval to all immoral desires.
Thank
that are
you very
shameful,
much.
Unnatural, lustful, and indecent.
Thank you, Jen.
I am one of those who are against the SB1. I am a native Hawaiian born and raised in Hawaii, and I know most of you up there are Hawaiian. Yes, we are the law state that was built on love, God's love, that is. Hawaii was built on God's word and Christianity before these islands became a state. The missionaries taught the Hawaiian ancestors how to read and speak English so they could read the Word of God and follow the Word of God. Kamehameha, the Queen Liliuokalani, and even a Father Damien, whose statue is in front, were men and women of God who stand up for truth and love. I read a part of what Kamehameha wrote in 1840, that no law shall be enacted which is the variance with the word of the Lord Jehovah, or at the variance with the general spirit of his word. All laws of the island shall be in consistency with the general spirit of God's law. This will hurt the future of my children, so I stand for those who can't speak. Thank you.
I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. Article 1, freedom of religion has been compromised by a simple, neatly disguised phrase known as public accommodation. The business owners that stood their religious moral values, stood for marriage between men and women, refused their facilities based on the principles of marriage, not only on same-sex couples, but also on couples who were heterosexuals and not married. Yet, they were ruled against them. The very same phrase, public accommodation, will hold religious institutions accountable to vet this, if you vet this bill. And if this bill passes, that same guidance will be used to judge our churches and our religious institution. The public has more to say, and you cutting off the public is inconsistent with democracy. This is not democracy. I oppose SB1. Thank you.
Chair He, Vice Chair Shimabukuro, and members of the Judiciary Committee. My name is Eric Uwasa, and I stand before you representing my wife and my two daughters, Hope and Hannah. And I'm pleased to say that my two daughters get it, that God has created man and woman differently, and God has created marriage between one man and one woman. We are against Senate Bill number 1 and strongly believe in traditional marriage, which is a sacred, legal, social union ordained by God and is an exclusive relationship between one man and one woman. We're deeply concerned about the negative impacts of this bill on Hawaii's families, children, and grandchildren, teachers, churches, and small business owners. The special session does not allow adequate time to discuss this very important issue that so many feel deeply about. This issue should be best decided by a constitutional amendment. so that it truly reflects the will of the people. I humbly ask that you will let the people decide on this very important issue. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to let me speak. And I want to say to everyone in that corner over there, we love you. No matter what happens today, we love you. And we are here because we have something, difference of opinions, but what you do in your home is fine. What I do in my home is fine. So I don't want the lesbians, gay, come and teach my children, and that's my concern here today. Who is going to tell my kids?
Can you testify to us on
Yes.
Senate Bill 1?
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
strongly oppose. Number one, the CDC shows that 22% has increased. As a registered nurse, the first thing that happens is AIDS. And what happens when they get AIDS? They get immunosuppressed, the lungs, the breath of life goes, and we don't have enough rooms for isolation. If you walk on Queens, those hospitals are not prepared. So I'm asking you, when are you gonna build a hospital? A new hospital that has the technology, that we don't have to send patients to San Francisco, to Southern California, to Texas. Are we ready? So,
Thank you very much.
thank you so much, and I strongly oppose to the bill for the consequences that it's going to bring to your family and your children.
My name is Calvin Cavasso from Waimanalo. Good evening, Chairman Clayton He and members. One reason I oppose this bill is that it has the effectual result of denying the free exercise of faith or religion by individuals, organizations, businesses, schools, churches, and others. A second reason I oppose this bill is that as written, it wrongfully places into law a preferred civil rights status based on a moral or chosen behavior lifestyle to the exclusion of other moral lifestyle beliefs and values far beyond immutable civil rights. This bill as proposed will effectively quell free speech and assembly based on the moral values relating to sexuality, marriage, family, and many other of our Hawaii values. The subject, wording, and ramifications of this bill need much greater study, both of impact and long-term ramifications, including its unintended consequences in all aspects of our community. I respectfully ask you, Chairman, to hold this bill for full consideration in the January session. God bless you.
Thank you, Cam.
Good evening, Chair He and committee members. I'm Mike Galoyu, a retired Air Force officer who strongly supports SB1. I support this because, first of all, for my son Michael, who deserves to be an equal citizen in the state of Hawaii, just like his sister. I also support it for all the past and present gay sisters and brothers in all military service who served and in some cases died to defend the Constitution of the United States. For those who say there's not been enough time to discuss this issue, we've been discussing this issue since the 90s. Over the years, I haven't heard anything new from the opposition, just the way they say it. If they want to vote, should we vote on their civil rights to freely gather to express their religious conviction? I say no, because we should not be voting on civil rights and we should not vote on same-gender marriage. Same-gender couples should not have to leave the state to get married, and even if they do, they still will not receive all the federal benefits if we do not have equal equality marriage rights in Hawaii. A month ago, I traveled through 5 states that have same-gender marriage, and they're all doing fine spiritually and economically. I wish some folks would listen to Pope Francis and leave the gay people alone, get to feeding the hungry, take care of the poor, and spread love and not fear. Although I have much more to say, I will just say thank you for the opportunity to state my strong support for SB1.
Thank you very much.
Yes, my name is Uilani, and my husband, and we both oppose this bill, and we'd just like the people to be able to vote on this bill, and we just want to oppose this bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Marshall, and it's funny that Les Ihar just left because I ran against him in the last election. I think he saw me in line, so he got a little scared. But I'm opposing this bill basically on the. I had to say that, especially because he left. But basically, with the time I have left, I wanted to point out a couple things that nobody has mentioned basically, there's the line in page 4 that talks about the husbands and wives will be pretty much scratched off of this, off the books. And what I want to ask you guys in the Judiciary Committee is how come in page 8, line 1, it relists husband and wife in the same, in the same law that you guys are putting out. You're writing not to write that law, those words in, but yet you write it right there in page 8, line 1. Okay, it doesn't make sense. I don't know who wrote these things. You guys need to get better lawyers. I hear you got 9 of them in the Democrat side. I am also on the Republican Party. I have to give the full disclosure. I am, one of those guys on the other side that gets to vote against, tries to vote against you guys and tries to work against what you guys do here in this state. So, also, I want to state that one other thing that is not pointed out is also the part that says that there's this discrimination not on race, or, well, I'm calling it race or gender, but basically if you look in there, there's a basic saying that you cannot be of any relationship whatsoever by ancestry or by descendant. If you look up the word descendant, it basically means anybody of the same race. So if you look at this law, basically white people can't marry white people, gay or straight. Japanese can't marry
Thank you very
Japanese.
much.
And you just keep looking down the line at this law, and you'll see a lot of little discrepancies that just make this law doesn't make sense and unconstitutional. So again, just oppose this, work on the bill, try to make it work for the people.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joshua Cole, and I'm a pastor at First Assembly of God. I want to thank you all for all your hard work in protecting the constitutional rights that I have, and I speak on behalf of this generation under 25. That being said, it's brought to my attention that my generation is seen as apathetic towards the government and political issues. I stand before you as a concerned citizen under 25, speaking for many young people in my generation who are afraid to speak their convictions, beliefs, and risk of being called a bigot, intolerant, and a homophobe. I speak for them as they, along with 1,000 plus in this petition against this same-sex marriage bill. Besides my religious beliefs in support of traditional marriage, I believe that this bill needs to go through due process and must be properly examined, allowing the people to speak up. I cannot see how a people can live in freedom of their belief if they have to constantly fear of breaking the law or being considered haters. As you review, deliberate, and vote on this bill, I ask you to keep in mind that this bill will not only affect a single group of people, but the citizens, all citizens of Hawaii. As a concerned citizen under 25 representing this generation, I ask you to protect my rights to practice my beliefs of my choosing, and my rights not to live in fear of persecution. I ask that you will fulfill your role to protect the people of this great land. Again, I'm opposed to this bill as a citizen under 25 to speak to those of my generation.
My name is Loree Purdy, and I strongly oppose this bill. My history is working for 25 years with children, male and female, who have been sexually molested. I worked with women who have been raped, beaten, homeless of all groups, verbally and physically abused women and teenagers, transvestite. I was blessed to spend the last 2 months taking care of my best friend from my childhood, watching him die of AIDS. I have girlfriends who are lesbians that I love deeply and have high regard for. I have several nephews, cousins who are gay that I have deepest love for. I love none of these people any less because of their choices. From all this and the knowledge of their history, childhood memories can bring more hurt than inspiration. The voices of their past has cursed them, belittled them, ignored them. God wants to give them grace. I have a deep relationship with Christ, and I represent God tonight. I have lived for the last 43 years in many of your districts. You have represented your districts well, and I trust your wisdom to oppose this bill. Let the people of Hawaii vote. Bitterness is its own prison.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Todd Nishimura, Associate Pastor of New Hope Leeward. I would like to testify in opposition to this bill. At our church, we welcome, respect, and embrace people of all sexual orientation, race, color, and creed. However, I strongly feel that this bill circumvents the democratic process. Taking it to special session will only allow 5 days, which is not enough time, to make a decision on an issue that is so highly controversial for the people of our state. The current language of the bill is vague and problematic, and thereby jeopardizes our First Amendment right. Furthermore, the clause on public accommodation will, if passed, become an obstacle for many of our churches to continue to partner with many of the community and public organizations that we do now. We want to do good for our community, and we want to partner with our community to be able to do that. In 1998, a state constitutional amendment was made to uphold traditional marriage because it represented the will of the people, and for some reason, it's being brought to question again. So if the will of the people needs to be restated and reconfirmed, then please let the people express their beliefs by letting it being brought to vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Group number 14 should be prepared to assemble in the back. Oh, then group 15. Thank you. Yeah, we got about 50 more people.
50 more people. 50.
Please proceed.
Good evening, Chair He and members of the committee. My name is Alex Shimizu. I'm a registered voter, and I oppose SB1. I'm also a teacher in our public schools. As an educator, I'm regularly called upon to make informed decisions about the curricula I teach. I'm asked to exercise judgment based on best practice and standards. But if this bill passes, I will be stripped of that opportunity, as will thousands of other educators in the state of Hawaii. And simply stated, it takes the average person about 3 to 5 months to make a decision to buy a car. That's a car. With the far-reaching consequences of this bill, prudence demands that we slow down. Let's just take time. If we did nothing in this special session, no negative consequences would result, except that we would open up discussion and hash out the details. Let's give it time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aloha, Chairman He and members of the Judiciary Committee. My name is Vanya Reyes of Pro City, and I strongly oppose SB1. I am asking you to allow the people to decide on the issue of marriage, as I believe the legislature is going against the will of the people. I support equal rights for all, and I respect lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals. However, I believe that equality should be available to all people and not just favor the minority. This special session is not including the rights of religious freedom and is stifling the freedom of speech, which I ask you to respect as our elected leaders. As a public school teacher, I fight against bullying every day, and I teach my students to be fair and respectful to all. I expect my government to do the same to me. This bill will severely impact my freedoms as a religious person. I do not want this bill to change the public school curriculum and my profession as a teacher. I am opposed to the most contentious social issue in our history, and I ask that you please uphold the principles of democracy and the democratic process which are being discarded in this special session. I am 24 years old. I care about my home and my government, and there are many other young voters out there who care and want their voices to be heard. Thank you.
Aloha, my name is Lana Lando. I am a married woman of almost 40 years. I am a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. What I'm worried about is the ramifications of this, how this will affect my family in the future years. So I oppose SB1, and I hope, as we have put you in this position to make the right decisions for us, that you would hear what the people are saying. As I was standing out there watching the thousands of people standing for our rights, we just want you to know, senators, that you have the power in your hands to change this. So please do what you need to do. Thank you.
Aloha, my name is Lockbeth Eguchi, and I'm from Makiki, Honolulu. I'm here to strongly oppose this bill. You know, we were watching you, and every so often you have a disgruntled face. And my son had questioned, because I had made a comment about it. My son questioned why I would make that comment, because you would have to sit through repetitive. Everybody's saying the same thing over and over. But I shared with him that this is what I believe. As an American citizen, I have the right, and everyone else has the right, to be heard. And so, in my belief, I believe that this is not a bill that should pass, and this is something that you should allow the people to vote on. I believe that it is just as much my civil rights, too, that I have the opportunity to voice myself in the ballot. So I strongly oppose this. Thank you very much.
Aloha, Chair He, members of the committee. I'm Frederick Rolfing. I'm speaking in opposition to this bill. Marriage during the time of the Hawaiian Kingdom was defined to consist exclusively of one man and one woman. This legal definition of marriage has continued in Hawaii up until the present time. It's consistent with the marriage laws of 92% of the nations of this world. This is a child-centered understanding of marriage. It's served in virtually all human society to encourage men and women who may create a child to take responsibility for that child and for one another. It's the most effective way for society to promote the child's opportunity to know and be raised by his or her own mother and father. Marriage also promotes the integration of men and women by treating both as essential to society's most basic and foundational unit. It rejects the idea that men and women, mothers and fathers, are fungible. The importance of this issue and the 1998 amendment to the Constitution, I think, cries out to give the public an opportunity to weigh in on this issue. And as senators, you know, the only opportunity that the voters have in this state to do this is through a constitutional amendment passed by the legislature and submitted to the voters for ratification. We have no other recourse, no initiative process. So I would ask that you hold this bill until a constitutional amendment is passed that would allow the legislature to redefine marriage to include a single-sex option. Thank you.
Chair He, Vice Chair, and members, thank you for your time and service. My name is Bryn Villers. I have a Bachelor of Science in Zoology. I am a voting resident of Senate District 10, and I stand opposed to this measure and the legalization of same-sex marriage. Despite previous testimony to the contrary, biology plays a critical role in this decision because the claim of civil rights is sourced partly in a group sharing an immutable characteristic. Nothing in scientific literature has ever shown conclusively that homosexuality or sexual orientation is a genetically determined prenatal characteristic, despite decades of research and countless expended dollars. Yet the actions of the gay community taken as a whole, while protected under law, carry inherent statistically verified danger. For example, the CDC in March 2010 found the rate of new HIV diagnoses among men who have sex with men is more than 44 times that of other men. The rate of syphilis is more than 46 times more. The state's place is to regulate, not promote detrimental behavior, and foster beneficial behavior while respecting freedoms guaranteed by the state and federal constitutions. You've also heard a lot about love. The state does not recognize love, or there would be a love test from the state before marriage. The state has an absolute interest in promoting the heterosexual monogamous family environment of biological parents above all other situations. The National Family Structures Study strongly indicates that to be reality. Please vote no and let the people decide.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm an introvert. This is really nerve-wracking. My name is Carrie Villers. I'm a voter of Senate District 10, and I oppose SB1 and same-sex marriage. This is basically being put forth as a civil rights issue, and quite frankly, I'm Hapa Hawaiian, Black, and Chinese, and that's kind of offensive to me because you are comparing me with a class of people who have no evidence of this being an immutable trait, and you're associating that with the color of my skin. I'm also concerned that there are no individual protections in this bill. Constitutional rights apply to individuals, and yet the only exemptions are for organizations and for pastors, which is one class of persons. And lastly, without the support of the people, it's clear that there's a lot of opposition to this measure. You are creating a societal rift. When this spills over into the public education system, you're going to pit the values of the state against the values of the parents and the family, and that's very concerning to me because it's not healthy, it's harmful for all people.
Thank you, Jed.
My name is Colette Hinchcliffe. I am testifying in opposition of SB1. My first concern is the lack of religious protections for those who do not support same-sex marriage. Despite the recent changes to the bill, constitutional lawyers have confirmed the protections are not adequate. Tolerance must be a two-way street. It seems our modern society demands tolerance towards special interest groups while villainizing those with traditional values. Only when you have a bill that adequately protects both parties will true equality be met. My second concern is the societal changes this will have that are not adequately understood. The basic unit of society is the family. When the family is changed, society is affected. To the senators voting yes, are you ready to take responsibility for these changes? My concern is you are not, as illustrated by a question asked by yourself, Chair He, in regards to parents' ability to opt out of controversial education for their children asked to a woman earlier. You indicated there was nothing in the bill concerning education and seemed to dismiss her statement as an unjustified fear. This says to me that you have not considered the far-reaching effects of this bill. You do not have the answers to these important questions and therefore are not ready to make this decision. Please vote no on SB1. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alexander Maimer. I'm a new citizen of the United States, and I'm a treasurer of Hawaii Family Advocates. I'm here on behalf of Jim Hochberg, who could not be here at this time to testify. Not that this is not important. It's a very important issue, and he submitted a 4-page testimony for you to consider and ask you to kill this bill. Thank you.
Good evening, Senator He and Vice Chair and members of the committee. My name's Sean Louise. I'm an attorney. I've been practicing civil rights in Hawaii for 16 years. I'm the co-lead counsel in the Aloha Bed and Breakfast that Senator He, you were asking questions with Dan Gluck about. He was in group number 8. And we just filed our briefs in that case in September, and it's on appeal, interlocutory before the Intermediate Court of Appeals. He did make some comments about whether or not there is an exemption within the Constitution, and I'd like to bring to the committee's attention, Hobby Lobby en banc, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, en banc voted that there is an individual right that the First Amendment freedom of religion does not just apply to religious institutions and churches, but it is an individual right, and that was decided not just by 3 judges of the federal panel, but the entire panel altogether decided that decision on June 21st of this past summer. Previously, the Boy Scouts of America case and the Hurley said that the individual right under the First Amendment cannot be overwritten by a state statute, and the exemption that is set forth in Senate Bill 1, it has 3 conditions for the church to qualify. Churches are automatically exempt under 501c1. Then they have tax exempt status under 501c3. And to say that you'll look
Mr. Louise, if you could wrap it up.
Yes, Senator. If you could just think that to examine churches on whether or not they make a profit for rental of wedding space on their properties when they're already exempt under the federal law and state law, that seems to be a peculiar provision that's in the law. And Senator He, if you or any members have any questions about Aloha Bed and Breakfast, Ocean Grove, or any of these other cases, I'd be more than happy to answer them since I do practice this area of law.
Thank you for your offer.
Thank you.
Hello, Micah Cole. Anake Malama, can you open up your eyes, please? How's it? Everybody's eyes on me. Thank you very much. I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but I need your attention. My name is Jaren Kaleokalani, Teton Kaleokalani Sung. I'm a UH Manoa student studying Hawaiian Studies. I also represent the young generation who strongly oppose this bill with all my heart. Anake Malama, thank you. You know, I heard Senator He speak at my Koana scholarship reception. I was so impressed and inspired and proud to be a better Hawaiian citizen. And, you know, he knows all right that our voices as Hawaiians have been silent for a long, long time. And I'm here to make it heard. Again, I strongly oppose this bill. I have read and researched this bill, and the process is wrong. It does not exempt my church, which is a public accommodation. And also, we need to let the people vote on this bill. It's simply that, Why is it so important to call a special session? It's not important, What about Native Hawaiian rights, That should be a special session. My children's education, that should also be another special session, And aloha mai kako, I love you guys.
Thank you.
Aloha, Vice Chair Shimabukuro, Chair He, and the rest of the Judiciary and Labor Committee members. I think a lot of you guys know by looking at the audience that we don't get your attention. I've been watching from upstairs and downstairs in the rotunda for over 12 hours, and I noticed how disinterested some of you guys are. And I would ask for you folks, I think it's been said clearly that people want to be heard. And thank you for you guys' attention and your service here. I know it's grueling and it's long hours, but we've waited here as well. And to just hear the people, do whatever you guys can and exercise that agency that we have. My name is Saranda Inocencio. I'm from Hilo, but I live and work here and serve the public that you see in front of you, both transgender, bisexual, whatever the sexual preferences are. I love them, I respect them, and it's our duty to love unconditionally, whether or not it's stated in the Constitution. Love unconditionally, pay attention to the people, because there are a lot of messages being said, because there's a lot of hardships that our lesbian, bisexual, gay, transsexual community have gone through, as well as the regular people. So I ask that you vote in opposition of SB1, and thank you for your time. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Allison Harney, and I am a mother of 9, grandmother of 9, and I speak on behalf of them. Although I don't agree with the lifestyle of a gay person, I do agree that we do all have the right to choose the way we want to live. But if it's true what happened in Massachusetts, what's going to happen to my right as a parent when I don't have a say in their education? Will I be subject to arrest also if I want to up my child out of the classroom, if they're teaching them something that I don't want them to learn? I think it's evident here that from the testimony and the people that showed up here today, that we all want the right to vote. So please put it before us and let us have a say. Thank you.
Aloha mai kākou, o wau kaleli'i, mai kaina o Pau'ua. I am Kaleli'i and I'm a Native Hawaiian, and I strongly oppose this bill. Like my cousin Jaren said, this for me is very important. This bill is important, and I want to focus on the process that is being going through, the special session. Why not wait till January and take the time and examine everything and really get to know this bill and what has been put out? Like my cousin said, there's a lot of Hawaiian rights, there's a lot of other things that are important as well. So why only this get the special session? Why not Hawaiian rights? We have been oppressed for so many years. I am also a member of a religious group as well. And I know that we need to closely examine what we are doing. I may look 30, but I'm with the young people, I'm actually 23. And we are not all for this bill. I am against this bill. I am 23, my name is Kaleli'i Baldwin, and I strongly oppose this bill. Mahalo.
Aloha, and thank you for taking time for allowing us to be able to voice our opinion. I am strongly in opposition of SB1, and I'd just like to say that I'd like to have the opportunity and be able to speak in behalf of my 4 children and my grandchildren, and I would like you guys to let us to vote and let us speak, so that way it is the right way to let the democratic process begin. Thank you.
Aloha, good evening. My name is Tiare Lando and I oppose SB1. I'm a wife, mother, and grandmother, and I'm also a licensed care home operator serving our kupuna here in the state of Hawaii. And growing up, I grew up in the home with my mom and dad and my tutu and papa. And I know that you guys didn't call this special session, our Governor Abercrombie did, but something my papa used to say is 2 wrongs don't make a right. And so you guys have it in your hands to either kill this bill or let the people vote. And unanimously, on both sides, I believe that we deserve to each have a say and have a voice in this. Also, I really just keep bringing to mind that Rome was not built in one day, but it fell in one. And so traditional marriage between a man and a woman has been around forever. And in one bill, we can't simply deconstruct and redefine that. So thank you for letting us speak to you today and give us the choice to vote and voice our opinions. And please move this to the January sessions. Mahalo, ke akua.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to testify. My name is Kenji Reyes, and I am strongly opposed to the SB1 bill. I have pondered deeply upon this issue of same-sex marriage. I love and respect all individuals, no matter what their orientation may be, but I also believe that there should be equality among all. However, I believe this bill is more than just about equality. It is about trying to alter universal laws and principles. Marriage is between a man and a woman. This is the way it has always been, and this is the way it should always be. Trying to redefine the institution of marriage will have significant consequences for many generations here in the state of Hawaii. Some of the major areas that will be most affected will be the freedom of religion, our educational system, and many businesses. I am a 25-year-old citizen, and I am opposed to the SB1 bill. I strongly urge you to make the right decision that will truly benefit the people of Hawaii and vote no. Thank you.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Zane Kie Kaukini Lakaden. I'm 29 years old, born and raised in Waimanalo, and currently living in Kailua, Oahu. I'm against the special session for SB1. In 2002, I was able to make my first vote in the general election when I turned 18. And I remember the great joy I felt casting that vote, not only for my elected officials, but for the issues at hand on the ballot. As a Christian Native Hawaiian, I have family members and friends that don't vote because of sessions like this. And I would encourage you highly to put the vote to the people. I would also like to encourage more clarity in the process of this session for the future, like time limits. Have this all be given ahead of time instead of when we get here, just so it'll be a lot easier for everyone that comes in after me or even before me to understand and not go walking around like chickens without heads. I would also like to bless you guys with some almond cookies for dinner if you guys are able to.
Oh. Oh.
Wow. Good evening. My name's Owen Matsunaga. I just had knee surgery. I've spoken with some of you. I just had knee surgery on Wednesday, but I thought it was important enough to be here. What I don't appreciate is just being given 1 minute to talk, and also what I don't appreciate is the thousands of other people who are out there who submitted written testimony and just aren't being given an opportunity to be heard. I'm a local boy, parent of 4. I'm also a stake president in my church. It's a lay position, unpaid position. We have several thousand members in our stake in Mililani. I'm against the bill on religious grounds. It's against my faith, of course, but I'm also against it for other reasons, which I think all of you senators have received letters from legal scholars, top legal scholars in the area, who are experts, who have concluded that Senate Bill 1 is just not right. It's being rushed, and unless it provides robust religious freedom protections, all you're doing is inviting severe conflict and driving a deeper wedge in the community. I just think it's wrong-headed to go about this in a special session. I wish you would take more time to consider carefully the consequences of this decision and this bill, which I oppose. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair He and Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Aaron Shumway, resident of Laie. Like Owen, I'm also a lay leader in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We have over 3,600 members, stretching from Laie all the way almost to Kualoa. Over 2,000 of them are adults, and Senator He, these are all in your district. It's curious to me why we are rushing this issue. I just had a very exhilarating experience up topside with my 6 children, ranging from 17 to 2 years old, seeing the civic process, people coming out to voice their opinions. And they're asking me, Daddy, why are they doing it so quickly? And I have to say, I don't know. Why are you only allowed 1 minute to testify? I don't know. What about all these people who came who had to work today? I tell them I don't know. And so it just seems rushed to me. I'd urge you to consider this in a special session. I'm in opposition to this bill. As Owen said, the religious liberties protections are so flawed. There are so many other flaws in this bill. I urge you to vote no on it. Thank you very much.
Group 16 can assemble, please. Please proceed.
Can you speak now? We're good. Stop, you guys. How you guys doing? You guys look kind of sleepy right now. Hey, I am sleepy too. I've been here this morning and I could feel how you guys feel sitting in that chair all day. But I really don't have a script, nothing for put together. Pretty much I'll call you guys auntie and uncle, how I raised up. And I grew up on the west side. And the way we treat people is with love. I don't come from the religious background. I never come from the LBC background or none of that stuff, or the Hawaiian background. I'm a Hawaiian. But I don't come from the place where I had kids come up to me and ask me, why am my teacher teaching me this stuff in school? And this is Waianae High School. And they've been kind of like forcing this thing upon them. And I've been telling these kids, you know, hey, this is something that you guys might expect in the future. And I'm opposed against this. I really don't want to see these kids learn this kind of stuff because it's going to mess up their minds. And pretty much, yeah, if you guys could take that into consideration with you guys' hearts and understand the people. Now, I'm talking about religion, not talking about a group of people that are trying to push this bill, but I'm talking about the future kids, the kids that you guys probably have too. So, yeah, I hope, yeah. I'm tired. I know you guys tired. Peace out. If you guys like have dinner, we can have dinner at Zippy's after.
Okay. Good evening, Honorable Chair, He and committee members. I'm sorry about that. My name is Tale Vakalalambure, and I strongly oppose Senate Bill 1. I am a Christian, but I hope my voice is not ignored based on that fact. If SB1 is passed, my voice will be silenced. I will not be able to exercise my freedom of religion and speech provided for me by the First Amendment. But this is not the only reason why I oppose this bill, not just because I'm a Christian. It seems to me that this minority group, based on their sexual preference, is trying to force acceptance of their lifestyle and sexual orientation by making it law. This is not right. So I ask you to make the right decision, decide for the people. The people are speaking loud and clear. Hear us out and vote no to SB1. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm from the North Shore of Oahu. I represent the 3,000 people who wrote letters and delivered them to Clayton He this morning. 3,000 may not sound like a lot, but we gathered those letters in a matter of 3 days. I strongly oppose the SB1 bill because it will infringe upon our freedoms which are protected under the First Amendment. Whether it's freedom of speech, education, or employment, this bill will impact our future, my children, and our community, our society. We voted on a constitutional amendment in 1998 giving the legislature the power to limit marriage between opposite-sex couples. The only legitimate way to change this is to let we, the people, decide and to vote. Clayton He, I live in your district. I'm a registered voter, and I'll remember you. My name is Vili Toilolo, and I approve this message. Thank you.
Chair He and committee, I strongly oppose SB1. When civil unions was passed in Hawaii, same-sex couples received all the benefits and responsibilities that married couples have. This bill is not about benefits, and this bill is not about equality. This bill would take away individuals, businesses, and churches' First Amendment rights. The First Amendment states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. If SB1 were to pass, this same-sex marriage bill would take away my First Amendment rights. Some of our founding fathers died for my First Amendment rights. In 1998, 70% of the people voted not to redefine marriage. In 2009, over 15,000 people showed up at the Capitol against civil unions and same-sex marriage. In 2010, over 20,000 people came to the Capitol against civil unions, also known as same-sex marriage. Earlier today, we had a rally to let the people decide on marriage. Official numbers have not yet been confirmed, but it was estimated that once again, over 20,000 people were in attendance to oppose same-sex marriage and let the people decide. Last but not least, same-sex marriage is in direct opposition to the Word of God, the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation. This nation was built upon biblical principles. Please kill the bill and let the people decide.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
What First Amendment right did you speak of that will be taken away?
The right to freely exercise religion. So, for instance, at my church, we're Christians. We don't believe in homosexuality, and we don't believe in same-sex marriage. So if our church building was forced to have a ceremony there, same-sex marriage ceremony there, if someone requested that, and we said no, there could be a lawsuit.
Is it your opinion that that is what the bill says?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Have you read the bill?
Yes, I have.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Of course not.
Aloha. My name is Blanca, and I am here to ask you, please vote no. I strongly oppose SB1 because society as we know will cease to exist. The homosexuals have no right to infringe on my rights. This bill is not about religious, it's about doing everything right for all, not only for the sake of a few. I don't want to take your time. You heard everything that I have to say. Mahalo and aloha, and God bless you.
Hello, my name is Inez Larson. I've been here since 2 o'clock this afternoon. There were thousands of people outside while you guys were sitting in here. I was watching you on TV and sign waving with thousands and thousands of people that didn't leave until about 7, 8 o'clock at night. I just want to let you know that I understand your daily life. That when you leave here, you'll go work with interns that they're homosexuals. They've infiltrated the state capitol. They're your interns, and you have to answer to them. Did you do right to them as well? And I just want to let you know that I oppose SB1 because my baby, he's been with me all day. Because of my church, I stand in solidarity with the bishop that he'll be forced, my church, my Catholic church will be forced to rent their, and you can say, no, that's not the case. There's exemptions, but we know that's not the case because we've been talking about this since the 90s, and they will file lawsuits. They have infiltrated the state capitol. You guys work with them. I know that you do, and I understand this is the pressure that's on you, but the thousands, I have never seen that many people protest a situation. I just want to let you know that. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Which homosexuals do I work with?
I don't know that you do specifically.
Oh, I thought you said you knew that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Phyllis Young, and I'm here to strongly oppose SB1. There are many people who have spoken today. Just in this late hour, there are so many of us who oppose this bill. And the bottom line is this: fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Why are you rushing? What pressure is being put on you by the governor or other people to take this upon yourself to do this in such a short amount of time? We, the people, deserve the right to be a part of this process, to have more time, much more time. And finally, we really need to learn from the experiences of places of Massachusetts and Toronto, Canada, and other such places that have had these effects where religious freedoms have been taken away. We were told by the expert, Phil Lees, that even a pastor had his child taken away because it was deemed to be coming from a homophobic family. And in that situation, who counseled this child? A lesbian. This is not right. Please open up your eyes and open up your ears and hear the people of Hawaii. Thank you for your consideration.
Hi, my name is Don Young, and I strongly oppose SB1, and I vote. I had a boss once who called this issue creeping incrementalism. First, it's one thing, civil unions. Now it's another thing, marriage, same-sex marriage. And tomorrow it's, as my wife mentioned, well, what's going on in Massachusetts and Canada. I strongly advise you, if you have not looked into the real situation, the details in both Canada and Massachusetts, that you do so. There was a meeting, not very well attended, last Wednesday here. I hope most of you were there, so that you can see the path that we're being led down. Lastly, I just want to say that there's no real need for this bill. There's no real rush that we should be under for this bill. And so let the people decide. Let the people who voted you into office have a say in this traditional marriage. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for my chance to testify before you. I'm opposed to this bill, SB1. I wasn't going to give you my personal testimony, but I feel like I need to say something about my personal life. I was lured to Hawaii by a homosexual male that was much older than me, who I respected, but I wasn't a homosexual or had an inclination towards it. When we got to Hawaii, away from my friends and family, you know, smoking dope, looking at pornography and all that stuff, going to strip bars. And he tried to convince me that I was a homosexual because I had been aroused by that stuff, okay? But because I had some religious background, I just knew it wasn't right. He left. And I think about it today. I'm married for 30 years. I have 5 young adults now that I've raised. And God took that desire out of my heart. And I think about, had I believed this person and the many other people that he brought me around to try to convince me that I was born homosexual, okay, these people wouldn't be alive today. So I want you guys to consider that. The authority to define marriage is in the hands of God alone, okay? It's beyond human authority. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Test, okay. Aloha. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Teresa Asantista Sorensen. I come from a family of 9, 4 sisters and 4 brothers, one of whom is a homosexual. I love him and I support him as my faith commands me to, which is to love God and my neighbor. However, my faith does have boundaries. And if you pass this bill, you will remove those boundaries that I would like to pass on to my family. As I recall, we all benefited from the commandments of you shall not kill and you shall not steal, not to mention being born of a man and one woman. If you pass this bill, who are you doing it for? The many or the few? So let the people decide. Please, do not pass SB1. Think first of everyone. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Susan Solomon. I also am an Austintista. That was my sister that came before me. My brother is a homosexual and I'm proud of him. I love him very, very much. But because we live in a diverse state, I come from Waianae. I'm a transplant there. I am Roman Catholic. I've been married 33 years. I have 5 children and I have 10 grandchildren. I would like to say I oppose this bill only because I believe, my faith grounded in me, that marriage is a sacrament between a husband and wife. I really, really do believe that, please, I want you to kill this bill, please, and let the people vote in January. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for giving us the time to be up here to voice our hearts. My name is Sisuli Misa Alifua. I am here on behalf of the Samoan community and for the young people and for my child who is born in the state. I don't understand how a sexual preference became law. That just doesn't make sense to me. I oppose and I rebuke the SB1 because they can't reproduce, we can't have children. Say if my son was gay, how would he have children? So I don't understand that. But you guys are our leaders. You guys, I pray that you guys have wisdom and you guys know what's right to do. And thank you guys for your time and drink some coffee because you guys are all sleeping up there. Hallelujah.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Senators. I was looking for the train tracks of that train that's going down the train track, fast tracking this SB1. I couldn't find it, but I think hopefully it'll come to an end. My name is Mark Gao. I oppose SB1 for several reasons. Number one, it violates the rights of parents to educate their children. In Massachusetts and Canada, where same-sex marriage laws have passed, the courts have dismissed lawsuits of parents opposed to having their children forced to be taught that teaching of homosexuality relationships are identical to heterosexual ones. The courts have even prohibited parents from opting out of these teachings with a take it or leave it attitude. Number two, it violates the freedom of conscience and religious freedom. Religious and persons of conscience who oppose same-sex unions will be threatened to speak out because same-sex unions and therefore homosexual behavior and relationships are to be accepted and, quote, normalized, and therefore and viewed as the same as traditional marriage under the law. Supporters will apply or pass hate crime legislation to muzzle and prevent those from speaking freely about the prohibition of homosexual marriage. Why is this, why are the laws, as I shared, so punitive for those who are opposed based on freedom of conscience and freedom of religion? Why? I believe in most states indicates research shows that same-sex marriage is not really the true intent of advocates. I believe that some same-sex marriage advocates' strategy here and across the country, in the past, now, and the future, is not truly marriage. Well, I may include that. Rather, it is about legalizing the approval of the homosexuality lifestyle and imposing it with force throughout the various social, including marriage, and political institutions of a society that will never accept it otherwise. In conclusion, I urge you to vote no on SB1, simply because an unjust law isn't a law at all. If I add, I was the last person, Senator, to take that number 16 group ticket, the last one that was issued. Behind me were many people that came from in the rural areas, from the city, with families asking to speak. This issue of such magnitude involves public input. You've heard it from many.
Can you wrap it up?
Please, just the courtesy, just a few seconds. Requires the input of everyone. Also, families with young children, people from different backgrounds, denied a ticket simply because of the limit of testimony, which is not warranted for an issue that would change perhaps the generations to come. So I take umbrage to that and an exception that that was prohibited. Thank you.
Before we proceed with the next person, it's unfortunate the previous speaker takes umbrage, because I take umbrage with what he just said. The fact of the matter is, two members of this committee who publicly have indicated they were going to vote no on this measure talked to the lobbyist of the group in the rotunda, and they've come to a conclusion. So any suggestion that there's a denial by this committee is untrue. And I take umbrage with that. Please proceed.
Well, I want to appreciate the time that you've taken to hear from us, because I've seen you guys here from the beginning of the day, and it's been long. For me, it's a conflicting issue, because I have both past employers and friends, people that are gay, that I respect, that I know that are good citizens. And on the other hand, I also come from growing up knowing that there's something missing when there isn't two genders involved in a family. What I want to point out to you is, in regards to the bill, and when it says that it's accommodating for religious organizations in order to allow the clergy to perform marriages, but certain clergy feel it's against their religious beliefs, correct? And so the allowance is to go ahead and give them allow them to give donations, but I don't think it addresses that issue enough, because those for-profit businesses will not be able to survive if they only rely on donations. And that needs to be considered in the wording of the bill.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Senators. My name is Atama Vakalambure. I'm a son, grandson, husband, and father to two. I'm also a taxpayer and a productive member of society, and a mentor to many young adults and youth, and represent the many I speak to who oppose this bill, many of whom are the younger generation. I am for equality, I am for love, and I believe that no one should go through any form of discrimination, but I'm against the redefinition of an institute that existed before government. Therefore, government does not have the right to change its definition. I stand strongly to oppose this bill, SB1. I also believe that same-sex marriage does not have equal standing, sanctity, or benefits to society in comparison to heterosexual marriage or traditional God-ordained marriage. I do believe the answer is not redefining marriage in the process of trampling upon the majority of our rights, especially the right to vote on this issue. The answer is kill the bill, if not defer this to the regular legislative session, so there is enough time to allow for the democratic process to take its course. We trust you and we believe you, and we know that you will make the right decision for the people of Hawaii. God bless you.
My name's Charlie Peterson. I am 25. I'm opposed to the government redefining marriage. I want to share with you my experience at the foundation of the family. I raised a little boy for 5 years without the influence of a man for a father figure. As I fought the statistics of a future outcomes from single-family union, I began to realize they are statistics for a reason. Although I put my best efforts in my son, he still suffered. 3 months ago, I chose to sign my rights over as a mother to a mother and a father, because I understood the statistics of the best possible situation for a child. My son now has a more promising future because I could recognize the importance of my child's future. Have you seen the studies? Have you seen the statistics? Can you recognize them? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to sacrifice for your children and their future? Read the statistics. 5 days is not long enough. I stand 100% behind the marriage is always and will be defined only between a man and a woman.
Thank you very much.
Aloha, Senators. I have heard among your colleagues and in the media that a majority of young adults support same-sex marriage and this bill. That is not true. I am part of the original group of young adults that have created and mobilized a group of 1,600 young adults that oppose and have been actively fighting the passage of this bill. We have helped Hawaii family advocates design and make signs that you have seen waving in your district. We have created and distributed a frequently asked questions to help people understand the bill and how the legislators have circumvented the democratic process. We have designed, produced, and distributed flyers about the rally today. We have submitted testimonies and helped an additional 1,500 people submit in-person testimonies so they could be heard today. As our elected senators, we have voted for you to represent our voice. However, you have effectively silenced thousands of people across Hawaii with the special session process. People who have submitted testimonies to be heard today have been shut out. Neighbor islands will not be able to testify unless they can afford to fly out and take off of work. If you care about the people of Hawaii and wanted to hear the voice of the people you represent, then you would not have done this. We will not forget what the legislators did to the people of Hawaii in 2013. I strongly oppose Senate Bill 1.
I believe you're the last, so we welcome you.
Happy to be here. Oh, don't start my time yet. Thank you for your time today. It has been a long day for all of us. I stand before you, a fearful, broken-hearted victim of a hate crime. I'm in opposition of Bill SB1. I'd like you to see the senators, if you can look up. These are injuries that I received while I was exercising my right of free speech in a loving and respectful way, sharing the message that we should allow the people of Hawaii the opportunity to make a decision on such a complex issue. This special session circumvents the democratic process. Our country was built on the beliefs that we are a democracy. We have family and friends on both sides of the issue, and we all love each other dearly. Please do not allow yourselves to cause further division amongst the people of Hawaii. By passing this bill in this way, you are not building walls, but not building bridges, but building walls. Hateful walls. I was called a hateful bigot. This angry man attempted to run me and my husband over. Our message is not hate, but love and respect. Respect the people you represent and allow us the opportunity to vote and make this difficult decision as a people of Hawaii. I also want to add that a handful of mothers and myself gathered over 500 signatures in a handful of hours, people asking for you to just allow us to vote on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll take a short recess. Cassie.